In the day, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath as we get about our hour's business today. Y'all, we're going to get at it, just run a little bit behind, so we're going to get right on that prayer. Y'all know how we do it. Wherever we at on the four corners of this earth, we turn toward Holy Jerusalem. Jerusalem is that way. So y'all, bro, going to get this prayer on. We're going to get this feast day on.
With the Most High's permission, in the name of His only begotten Son, Psalms 87.
Yes, sir.
His foundation is in the holy mountain. The Most High loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of Yahweh. Selah.
Selah.
I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia.
Yes, sir.
This man was born there. And of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her, and the highest himself shall establish her. The Most High shall count when he writeth of the people that this man was born there. Selah.
Selah.
As well the singers as the players on instruments shall be there. All my springs are in thee.
Hallelujah! Selah! Yes, sir. Once again, all praises to the Most High. You got right at it, didn't he, huh? Just got right to it. Once again, shouts out to the worldwide audience. Shouts out to all of our continued supporters that support the ministry and the radio station. Today's class, y'all, we occasionally like to do what we call question and answers, or instant in season and out of season, just to, everybody. So we have to be on point, being that tomorrow is not promised to us.
That's right.
So we have to get in question and answers today. We want to ensure that saying we'll answer that next week, that may be a problem. Yourself or them may not be here next week. So y'all, we'll do a question and answer today. Too about what questions did you have that we need to go over. Also, we got Broad Town, St. Louis resident. Say your name again,
Emmett Up Church.
Emmett Up Church, y'all. That Up Church family. We got some more Up churches around St. Louis. One I used to DJ with. But Up Church is here, so he'll be asking a few questions today. We're going to go over the priesthood with that a little bit today. But what'd you have out there first, too, by?
Shalom, I've been in the truth for a while, but I'm still trying to understand what the abomination of desolation means.
Okay, so Nat Turner currently is working on a full class of that, but we'll just give you a brief overview of what the abomination of desolation is. And basically, is who this man that will call himself God on earth. He'll be the Antichrist. His doctrine, his whole setup, his world government, his universal government reaching the four corners of the earth will mimic the second coming. The only problem, everything he gonna be doing, the sun and the moon is gonna be displayed.
The sun and the moon will be gone.
Yeah.
Also,
Go ahead, Elijah.
take it into account that it's the abomination that make it desolate.
Yeah,
So, what does it make desolate? It's making the whole world desolate.
that's right.
Of knowledge and wisdom of the Elohim. It's turning everything good evil and evil good.
That's right.
So we're in the age where he says iniquity already doth work.
Absolutely, Elijah.
And so when he that let it be, he shall reveal himself, he's going to make all things that are abominable lawful. So all the wickedness like the transgender,
Yeah,
programming, the homosexual agenda,
yeah,
all these things are becoming lawful to the point where those that speak against it are called the lawless
right.
and the disobedient. So now we're living in an age where evil is good and good is evil.
Boy, ain't that terrible?
So it's the abomination of all abominations that maketh everything desolate, because now the whole earth, we're living in the wilderness of the people.
That's right.
So the whole earth is, like he says in Isaiah, all tables are full of vomit. There's no place clean. You know what I'm saying?
That's terrible, ain't it?
So all the knowledge of righteousness is out the window now. Because even in programming, TV programming, everything you look at, even the animation for our children, is tainted with evil.
Yeah.
And the homosexual agenda.
Yes, sir.
And the transgender agenda.
And the bestiality coming.
Right. And so remember, the first commandment of the Most High, of Elohim to Adam, was be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
Well, with transgender and homosexual agenda, it stops that. So that's Satanism, to do away with the reproduction of mankind.
Yeah. But they call themselves mocking Elisha. What they'll do is they'll allow a transgender, a woman, to grow a beard,
Yeah.
but then keep her ovaries and things that it need for a woman to produce a child.
Right.
And then is actually trick talk though, because it's still technically a woman.
Right.
She's just got a beard.
And so
Come on in, y'all.
Shabbat shalom, brother. And so now they try to say that a man can have a baby.
But it's technically a woman.
Shabbat shalom, my brother. How you be? Because I just saw a thing, some crazy debate online where this woman who had a full mustache trying to say that women born biologically aren't the only ones that have rights to monthly menstruation.
Well, how they gonna get that done?
So I'm like, man, you crazy as Batman. Just because you got a mustache, you still a woman.
Yes, right.
I don't care how much hair you put on your face.
Yeah.
You still a female.
Because you bleed from another area. You ain't bleed from a female part. So let's get that straight, y'all. But this is where we're getting to when we're coming to the days of Noah, of Sodom and Gomorrah, y'all. Because once you get into that study and you see what was taking place during that time, you know exactly where we are. So y'all, we ain't gonna belabor the fact, but we'll get right to the abomination of desolation. Like I say, Nat Turner got a full class he got coming, and I don't want to leapfrog that. I'm just gonna hit a point that he'll reiterate when he goes into the final 10 toes and that fourth kingdom. But if we can, let's turn to some 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now, the abomination of desolation caused some Israelites to jump the gun and chase a doctrine called preterism. And what that is it took place in 70 AD when they thought Nero Caesar was the Antichrist. So you got some groups out here teaching that. But Nero never went to Jerusalem and never sat on a throne and proclaimed himself God. He actually sent his understudy, Vespasian. Yeah. And Vespasian went to Jerusalem and threw swine blood on it, and they tore the temple up. But did they Did he sit on a throne and proclaim himself God? No. It's not recorded. So he wasn't the one. He just was the one that got everything put into motion. And he killed a lot of Israelites during that movement. And that's when the remaining Israelites who was in Jerusalem got carried off and carried away. Some of us who had already fled into the parts of Africa and different were picked up on the ships. The Africans helped load us up, and they got some beads and some corn whiskey for selling us out. But they wasn't selling their own people. Right. If anybody see the movie Shaka Zulu, you always see one scene where a white explorer, whoever asked, who's that group over there in them white robes, he said, oh, those are just the Jews. So the whole world know who we are. We just don't know because we've been carried away captive, but it's been right in our face. The problem is we got to get off being an Israelite unless you tell why we're here first and what caused us to be brought low to this state. Other than that, we need to teach the gospel first, the good news of Messiah. If you bringing it home like you should, they eventually gonna ask you, so what doctrine are you, or who do you follow? What is it called? At that point, you can explain who you are, because if you come out the gate, I'm an Israelite, we got some bad working of Israelite out on street corners that's gonna make you guilty by association. They immediately gonna start to look at you and think, oh, you them ones who be cursing out people and doing this, and you ain't said one curse word yet. You just jumped on because of that. So we always advise people, if your game is sharp, you're gonna come to that. Preach the gospel of Christ first and his second coming. They gonna get around to asking you that because you're gonna be saying some things anyway that they ain't never heard. Don't give them no ammunition to stop listening at the beginning, because they'll just be doing like this, yeah, you with them crazy ones, and they won't hear anything you say. You'll get around to your identification, like Paul did in Romans 11 chapter. He said, I'm a Roman citizen, but I'm an Israelite. My tribal origin is the tribe of Benjamin, but I'm a Roman citizen, like we American citizens, but our tribal origin is Israel. And from the tribe of Judah. Yeah. Or like Esther. You know, so run the gospel first, y'all, and then if it's asked who you are, then it'll be accepted easily without no doubt. But go ahead, run that 2 Thessalonians, if you will, chapter 2, verse 1. And we're just going to speak on the abomination of desolation. Then we'll just run a little bit of Revelation 16 just to nail it down. But y'all, the bulk of this started with Nero sending Vespasian up there in 70 AD to sack Jerusalem. And once that happened, when they did that, that's when we were scattered worldwide completely at that point. So go ahead, bro, whoever got it.
That's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him.
See, so you see what it's saying. I beseech you, brother, y'all listen up to what I'm talking about. This is about the Messiah, our high priest, his coming and our gathering. It's not a rapture, it's a gathering. Only thing you're going to see in the Bible is the great gathering of the saints. You know, so we want to get that clear. This is not talking about a rapture doctrine. That's pre-tribulation. They're saying we'll be gone before anything kicks off. Everything in the Bible is post-tribulation. Immediately after the tribulation. That's all you see. Immediately after the tribulation. Because we have to go through and we have to be tested. Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 2.
Yeah.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means.
By what means?
By any means.
By any means. Let no man deceive you by any means, because it's going to be self-explanatory. The Messiah say, if anybody claims he's Christ, we're at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. If any man says he's Christ, all you have to do is look up. If it's at nighttime and you see the moon, he's a liar. If it's during the daylight hours and you look up and you see the sun and he's claiming he's the Messiah, he's a liar. Because Christ is going to knock those lights out. It says the moon and the sun shall be darkened. That's in Joel. It's also in Acts. It's in Matthew 24. It's in Amos. What day is that to the Lord to you? Amos 5:18 is it? So everything in the Old and New Testament say the sun and the moon will be knocked out. So anybody claiming that they the Messiah, this all you have to do. And that's not hard, is it? That's just an easy test, unless your soul wants to believe a lie.
Oh, give us a king spirit.
Give us a king spirit. Go ahead, Zed.
Verse 3 again. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
The son of perdition, the man of sin. And perdition is a holding spot for the most wicked people that go from that location straight to the lake of fire. Judas Iscariot, and say he went to perdition. So when you look up perdition, it's going to tell you a holding place of the damned or damnation. Go ahead. What else to say?
Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship.
Or that is what?
Or that is worship. So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
See, Nero Caesar never did that in 70 AD. See, Nero never did that. Vespasian didn't even do it. They just came in there, poured swine blood all over, sacked it, and run everybody the hell out of there. That's what Nero Caesar did. Now, yes, you can look up some names. Does Nero and Roman numerals may spell out Antichrist? Well, the Pope had spell out Antichrist. You got a bunch of names could spell out Antichrist, but we're not to chase the name like that. What we'll chase is his action. Just what we read. He gonna sit on a throne in Jerusalem and claim, I'm God y'all been waiting on. I don't care what the name is. You can run names all day, but unless he's doing this, there's always part one and part two. Go ahead, Zed. What else to say?
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
So he's saying, I already done informed you of how he's going to bring it. So it ain't like you say he caught me off guard. No, you've already been informed how he's going to bring the drama. Go ahead.
And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the work of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
That they might be saved, because the love of the truth is what's going to save us, what's written. I don't care what miracles this did. Pharaoh musicians did miracles, but they were miracles were put down. Go ahead, verse 11.
And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
Hit that verse 12.
That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
And see, and that's what the Antichrist going to do for the first 3 years, first 3.5 years. He going to make it pleasant. Everybody going to have jobs. Everything's going to be, he going to stop World War III. He's going to make you think he's God on earth. But like I say, there's rule by peace. Going to destroy many by peace. So if you will, just get a little bit of Revelation 16, y'all, and we'll move out of that. But that's what the abomination of desolation is. Technically, it's when the Antichrist move into the rebuilt temple. They're going to do the sacrifice of the red heifer, which they're trying to get them lined up right now, get everything lined up right now. Which got him up? Yeah, and what we're talking about is it's without blemish. It ain't got. They've been over it with a fine tooth comb, and they can guarantee there's not one speck of any other color hair in this heifer. That's why they went and got the tribe of Dan from Ethiopia. They're not Ethiopians. They were just Israelites in Ethiopia. They airlifted them back in 80 and 85, called Operation Solomon and Operation Moses. And they brought them back to learn the rights of the red heifer.
Yep.
They were going to pull it off back then,
Right.
but they brought them back to show them how to get the ashes together. And they've been over there ever since, but they've been still treating them like third-class citizens over there. And they actually went and airlifted them back, but they getting the treatment. They getting the same treatment we get, because they ain't gonna leapfrog Deuteronomy 28 either.
Nope.
I don't care what the condition. The only reason they brought them back is to use them. So go ahead, Emo.
And they said that they almost completed that temple over there too.
They did what?
Completed that temple.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that they got it ready to go. It's on hydraulics. They're going to blow up the dome of the rock, which belongs to Ishmael and the Muslims, and they're going to just shoot this one right up from underground. Already built, is just sitting on hydraulics. They're going to blow that one up and push that one right up, introduce this individual as the Antichrist or as Christ on earth, and tell everybody they're going to fall down on their knees.
Yep.
And then he going to have the world army behind him. Ain't nobody going to be able to fight against him. It's called New World Order. Not New Babylon Order. New World Order. So there's a little bit that, yes ma'am, go ahead, woman.
They've done everything. They've got everything, the nations together, where they have had that thing where it's called interfaith, where all those nations.
Yeah, coexist. Yeah, they got the same thing running around here with these Israelites called brunity. They don't care what you believe as long as you know you are Israelite.
Unity.
You ain't got to believe in the Messiah. You can believe whatever doctrine you want to. They don't care as long as you believe it. We join up together. It's the same thing. That's why we call it Hebrew Christianity. They're doing the same exact thing that the Christian churches are doing.
Yes, sir.
They just know they Israelites. They're the same people because they come out of the church. And they're keeping the same titles. Only different thing they're doing is they're just preaching that we're Israel. They're not following the law, statutes, and judgments. They're following man-made doctrines. They got their high priest. The church got their reverends. You know, they following chasing commandments of men. They chasing nerd. They had a fashion show. They had a fashion show.
Yep.
They do the same exact thing. They're ordering men around with their women. They just do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
And they call it brony. Not only that, they got half of them believe in the Messiah, and then they linked up with a group that don't even believe in the Messiah. Say he never existed, and you all lumped in together. That's gumbo.
Yeah, Dumbo.
Dumbo, yeah, that's what it is. Dumbo, yeah, you right, Lysa. So let's pick this up in Revelation 16 and 1.
Revelations chapter 16, verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahweh upon the earth. And the first went and poured out the vials upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men, which had the mark of the beast.
Which had what?
The mark of the beast. And upon them which worshipped his image.
So this is the first plague from the Most High, and you see it's after the mark of the beast has been taken.
Yeah.
Them the first ones get hit with the plague from the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Those that worship receive the mark because it's an unpardonable sin. You cannot be forgiven for it. It's just like if you didn't put blood over your doorpost in Egypt. It's the same thing. It's just a reverse, so to speak.
Too late to turn back now.
Too late to turn back now. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man. And every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Elohim, which art and waste, and shall be, wast and shall be, because thou hast judged thus.
So just jump back and get right into this Revelation 13, which I really wanted more of that in it, but start at verse 9 of this Revelation 13.
I don't know, Brother Daniel.
Yeah.
You should have went from verse 8 to 9. This is happening right now.
Yeah, well, we getting into it. Verse 8 and 9 of 16. Yes. Well, no, right now, but it started off after the mark of the beast, so we're going to bag it up just a bit, and we're going to go right to the mark of the beast.
Something's going on right now.
Well, there's a lot of things going on right now, but we can't leapfrog prophecy.
That's right.
See, you have to keep everything in order. If you move in front of it, see, we ain't even got to the days of Noah yet. I'm talking about where you're going to see legalized marriage of bestiality. You're going to see people out in Clayton standing with a monkey or a horse, and the clergy is going to be marrying them. You're going to see AI robot marrying. All of this got to take place first before we get to this point. You understand what I'm saying? China can't keep the sex robots on the shelf. I want y'all to understand that if you Google China sex robots right now, they can't keep them on the shelf, and they're allowing you to marry. Let's get that Revelation 13:1. Go ahead.
Hey, be careful on Google, you might get advertised.
Yeah.
You start getting advertised.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Are you interested?"
Wife be looking at your phone like, what you been
What
looking
you
at?
been doing? Look here.
Do we have problems we need to discuss?
Do we need counseling?
Right. Revelation 13:1. This will help you out right here, bro.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns,
Uh-huh.
and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
So we see here that the New World Order is going to be set up with 10 kings or 10 crowns put on their heads. So I don't know where you going to flee Babylon unless you think all these 10 kings is just here in America. Go ahead, read some up.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard,
Uh-huh.
and his feet were as the feet of a bear,
Uh-huh.
and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
What the dragon given?
His power.
Uh-huh.
And his seat.
Uh-huh.
And great authority.
So you see Satan is imitating the Father, so he's giving, like the Father turn over everything to the Messiah.
That's right.
Satan is turning over everything to the Antichrist, the son of the devil. Go ahead.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Uh-huh.
And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
So this is twofold. Look, the beast most likely will probably be a man, then he'll be AI'd into place.
A system.
A system, you know, it'll be a man running this system, but he may get shot in the head, and they'll bring out the robot, the clone of him, the AI version, because they got him looking so real right now you can't tell the difference. So the deadly wound was healed, but we have to understand the deadly wound was healed when we're talking about the Roman Catholic Church revival.
The revitalized Roman Catholic Church.
It's back into motion. That's going to surface again, ain't it? Like,
yeah, and that's what they're starting to call it. That's what they're going to call it, because they're claiming they're cleaning out all the old, trying to clean up the church of all the bad blood with the pedophilia and all that. So it's going to be revitalized.
Yeah, that's a deadly wound, like what we're seeing now. Right?
It's going to come back into full play power.
but it wants you to know also, because it has to mirror resurrection.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to fool everybody that this is the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to see the person that was put down rise back up.
Right.
Underneath this system.
Right.
Those will be the great wonders you're going to see.
Right. But it's going to be according to the doctrine of the Catholicism.
Absolutely.
Not going to be according to this resurrection.
Because they have the world wide religion right now with 8 billion people, 8 billion members. So you have to understand what they control and the power they control. So they'll run the thing and have it set up. That's why I said iniquity already doth work. They already putting it into place.
Right.
And the Roman Catholic Church sit on 7 hills. Mm-hmm. And you got to understand, a religion is recognized as a state. Because if the Pope come here to St. Louis, guess who had to meet him at Lambert? Joe Biden. I don't care where the Pope go, the head of a nation or state has to meet him there. When the Pope came here, Bill Clinton had to meet him out at Lambert Airport. Yep. When he went there, when he was right there on Lindo, when the Pope went there on Lindo, Bill Clinton had to come to St. Louis to Lambert Airport and meet him. It sits on 7 hills. Yeah. So it's giving us a clue what's happening. And not only that, it's called Catholic religion. And this is what we want to make clear to some people. You may read in the Lord's book. It talks about Catholic. All that means is universal doctrine. It means a doctrine out of the world. But how you tell the difference is they put their name in front of it. They say Roman Universal Church. Catholic just means universal.
That's it.
We're in a universal church. We're just Israelite Catholic, so to speak. I don't want to get your mind mixed up and say, man, he pumping that set. I'm not pumping nothing. I'm just telling you what universal church means. It means Catholic. Look it up right now. You word experts out there. The problem is they put Roman in front of it. It's going to be without excuse. So if you chasing it and it says Roman Universal Church, you're chasing the wrong one. Just look the word up, y'all, and y'all understand it perfectly, what it says. Because it's going to be in the lost book, Universal Church, Catholic Church. And you'll say, right here, this seems like the Council of Nicaea. They ain't got it nothing. If it says Roman Catholic Church, then we chasing the wrong. And they don't use the Bible. They use what's called Roman canons. Right. Yeah. Canon 1 through 3, 4, 5, 6. Canon this. Like Nostradamus used quatrains instead of the book of Revelation. Right. So ain't no AD 32 around here. They do mother worship. Ain't no mother worship in the Bible. Right. Christ said, who's my mother, who's my brother? So we're clear from that doctrine. Not only that, they do what's called the Immaculate Conception, which says Mary is without sin, not the Messiah. So we're not, by us saying virgin birth, we're not teaching Immaculate Conception because it teaches Mary don't have no fault, not the Messiah. So you be careful on what you let somebody tell you. Right. Make them go look it up. Go ahead, Elijah, where you at?
Verse 5. And there was given unto
verse 4.
No, 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
See how you worship the dragon that gave power unto the beast. Like we worship the Messiah, but we still worshiping the Father. You understand? Right, because we go through the Messiah to get to the Father. That's right. So they're still worshiping the devil. This is why when you read Ezekiel 28, when it says the king of Tyre, people think that's an actual Babylonian king. No, that king is underneath Satan. So you worship because that king never was in the Garden of Eden. Right. The king of Tyre, they say he was in the Garden of Eden. And wasn't no kings in the Garden of Eden. Tyre didn't come till after the flood, before nations was even named. Right. So you just have to understand when they say you're worshiping the beast, he put kings in order to worship him. He tried to do the Messiah on the mount of 40 days. He said, I'll give you all these kingdoms if you bow down and worship me. Your father gave them to me. And Christ had to straighten the devil out on that. I don't need what you got, player. You're going to bow to me. It's the other way around, Lucifer. Now get the hints. Go ahead. What else to say, Elisha?
And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast?
What they say?
Who is like unto the beast? who is able to make war with him.
Who is able to make war with him? And when you're talking about an army, like you say, bro, like you had mentioned earlier, talking about warriors out here camp, you ain't no war out here you gonna make with them beat. Hell, they'll send a drone and clean up the 40 million of us.
That's all.
Right.
That's all they got to send. Hell, they'll send a Black Hawk helicopter. What we're talking about is now he's in control of all the superpowers and the nuclear warheads on planet Earth. All of those nations bow to him, and he'll tell them when they can launch. But this is what I want you to understand about a superpower. When you're sitting on like 1,000 nuclear bombs, what is a 9mm gonna do with that? You got some AR-15.
Sound like a BB gun.
Boy, look here.
Piss you off.
Oh, you like you say, go piss them off.
thing.
Yeah, that's what it'd be like. Quit shooting that little ball thing. We're talking about nuclear warheads, y'all. We're talking about what America put on Japan twice. Not one, and that was hydrogen.
Yeah, right.
That was water-based. These are now thermal. They're fire-based.
Champions and killers.
Oh, come on. Let's read some more, Liza.
Ain't out killed them.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months.
3.5 years.
3.5.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle,
Us.
and them that dwell in heaven.
And understand, it keeps saying blaspheme. That's why we read in Matthew 12 chapter, Matthew 7 chapter, he said, you're going to know a tree by its fruit. See, the tree is Satan, and its fruit is the Antichrist. Because, see, he was the tree of good and evil in the garden.
That's right.
See, and now that tree root is the Father. This is just a tree that just went rogue. So no good fruit can come from an evil tree. I don't care how you try to twist join in the Masons. It's an evil. It comes from an evil tree. You can't get good fruit out of it. It's not going to produce good fruit. It's impossible. But the tree of life was also there, which is Christ.
Yes, sir.
Which comes with the gifts of the Holy Spirit. That's going to always produce good fruit. So that's why he wanted you to be careful. That's why we keep saying blasphemy, blasphemy. If you blaspheme against the Messiah, he said you can blaspheme against me and forgive me. But if you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, which is the truth of God, there's no forgiveness in this world or the world to come. That's why it says he's going to be handing out the death sentence. He's going to be handing out the death penalty to make you turn your back on God. And a lot of people going to do it. Look, if you chasing men right now with diseases, what the hell are you going to do with the Antichrist?
No.
I'm talking about that performance. All these big roads doing is clown showing.
Boy.
Riding in on horses on the Passover.
But not even,
I'm the third in command.
This got them that ain't even done that.
Third in command of your house.
Boy, look here, you ain't even command of that. What you saying, license?
This cast that got them strung out that ain't even done that.
Ain't even done that.
Got them strung out.
Strung out, subverting whole houses with tomfoolery. What are you going to do when the Antichrist get here?
Gives the king spirit in
Your
full
boy look
bloom.
here.
Man, they gonna boy full throttle to it.
What else to say, license?
Verse 6.
Verse 7.
7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
What is he going to do?
Overcome them.
See, that's the same thing Daniel 7, Che.
Yeah.
They say he going to make war with the saints and he going to wear them out.
That's it.
When your mama say, boy, I'm about to wear you out, do you think she was just going to give you 2 licks? Pow, pow, now go to your room. Is that a wearing out?
No, she gonna make you.
That's not. I'm not doing that no moment.
Well, right, sure ain't. No.
She gonna make you regret everything.
Boy, have you on your tiptoes, get licked. When she turns you loose, you take off.
You still alive, though.
You still alive, though.
Still a while.
Right, but this gonna be a serious death wearing
No,
out.
this a death wear out.
And notice it's with the
Remember,
saints.
Christ said, "Wait till your fellow brethren have been killed in the same like manner as you is fulfilled."
And that's
So
coming.
that's death. So that's why he said, "He that loses his life for my name's sake
She'll find it.
find it."
Yes, sir. Real quick, while you hold that zip, just a little bit that Psalm 50, so we understand who the saints are.
Come on.
So
Yes, sir.
because the saints ain't just because you
You go to
sing
church.
saints come marching in.
on.
No, you got to do more than sing a song.
Or going to church every Sunday.
It's a deal you make with the Most High that He changes your name or just title you in the group called saints.
That's right.
What does it say right there? Psalm 50, 1 through 4, I believe it is.
1 through 5.
1 through 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Surviving their king with the feathers and chains.
Yes, sir.
Psalms chapter 50, verse 1. The mighty Yahweh, even the Most High, has spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof.
Yes, sir.
Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Yah has sent shine. Our Yah shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very temperate round about him.
So if you read Exodus 14, Exodus 19, you'll see that same fire because it came in a cloud the same way to deliver the children of Israel. It was leading them out of Egypt, and it had a darkness to where the Egyptians couldn't catch up with them. The same thing because it said going to be just like we come out of Egypt. Go ahead, Zeb.
He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people.
Right.
Gather my saints together
Do
unto
what?
me. Gather my saints together unto me. Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
That's the saints. The covenant you make with Messiah by sacrifice. Joining in into this marriage doctrine and sacrificing. And the only sacrificing is making yourself a first fruit.
That's right.
You got to be clean in here before you can offer up some turtle dove or something. He wants you to be clean in here because the Holy Spirit had to dwell in there. And it ain't going to dwell in no unclean temple. It ain't going to dwell in there if you deny the Messiah. So non-Messianic Israelites don't have the Holy Spirit. Nary will they get it. You can't call Christ a curse and then expect the Holy Spirit to come on it. It just ain't going to work. So then they make their only Holy Spirit. They make their own Holy Spirit. They'll put a Negro in its place. And he got to stop at Walgreens and get a prescription. And then this same Negro, you'll see him at a table like this. You know what that scripture I want. You know that one I want. You the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit brings everything back to remembrance.
Right.
What are you doing like this for? You know that one I want. Then he's the Holy Spirit. Y'all understand? But we want to believe a lie.
Yes.
Go ahead, Elisha. Read a little bit more.
All right, let me pull in my visions.
Yes, sir.
So we just did that to show you who the saints were, the ones that's made a covenant by sacrifice with the Most High. I believe you in
verse 7 out of 27.
Yeah.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Y'all see that? That's a worldwide new world order. Who is it over, Elisha?
All kindreds, all tongues, and all nations.
That's worldwide. So where you got to get off of that Babylon is just here in America. Babylon is a system. It's a worldwide system. Even back then, during that Babylon, they still had control of the entire world.
Yes.
Everybody was still bowing to Babylon. You can't flee this Babylon and run into another Babylon. It's still going to be the same thing. It's still under the same orders. Let's read some more.
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So see, there's a book of the Lamb first that must be open, and then the second resurrection book is open. The book of when the dead gives up, the sea gives up his dead. The first book is going to be the believers in Messiah and those that gave their life for him. That's the book of the Lamb. He opens that up first. And that's who reigned with him for 1,000 years. You don't make the 1,000-year millennium, you're going to be in the second resurrection. And that's where your O's got to outweigh your X's. You don't want to be caught short in that one. But those who make the first resurrection, The second death has no power. You get in on the first resurrection, you believe in Messiah, you locked and loaded. You don't even have to worry about your second resurrection. See, so it's explaining this. So if you deny the Messiah, your name ain't going to be found written in this book. That's why John 3:13, 3:18 say, those that don't believe in the Messiah, he say they're condemned already.
How do people run around talking about they saved?
Same thing, bro. What we're talking about, the Bible never says you are saved. It said might be, will be, or shall be, based on you enduring to the end.
It's like me telling you your name in the book of life.
Right.
Right. How do you know, bro?
If you believe that, then you do it.
Right. See, the problem is everybody that's born goes into the Father's book of life.
That's right.
See, the key is not to get your name blotted out.
There you go.
You get a blasphemy, you get blotted out. That's why Moses tried to get him block me out. He like, no, I'm going through the list on them. Korah and Dathan and them struck them all out of the book of life, and the wilderness covered them up. They were buried alive in the wilderness. 3,000 souls, names marked out of the book of life at that point. Moses couldn't stand for him. He like, no, every man got to stand on his own tug. But Christ's book of life is when you give your life for him. You believe he's the intercessor between man and the Most High. The one and only high priest after the order of Melchizedek. You have to believe that it's born of a virgin. See, because there's groups out there that believe he's the Messiah, but born of Joseph.
Right.
That makes him a blemished lamb. It must be an unblemished lamb. Because Joseph was going to put her away because he's saying, it ain't my baby, she got pregnant by somebody else. Off the tops, if you believe that, you're still believing in a blemished lamb, which cannot work. It cannot work because out of your mouth you're saying his mama could have been a hoe. You understand what we said? Let's get some more. Where you at, Elisha? We'll go down to verse. You might as well finish that out.
Okay.
We're in Revelation chapter 13
verse 9.
Verse 9.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword. Go ahead.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Who is the patience for?
The saints.
See, y'all, it's still those that have made a covenant by sacrifice. It ain't dealing with nobody else on planet Earth. If you're not part of this covenant, and the promises that the promise that came to Abraham in Genesis 12 through 15, and who he passed on to Isaac, and then Isaac passed it on to Jacob, and then on to any stranger or anybody that's sojourned amongst us. That covenant of these laws, statutes, and judgment makes you a saint, not the covenant of your pastor.
And not just the covenant of you being Israel.
Yeah, that either.
Because if you go back to Genesis chapter 5 where he talks about the generations of Adam.
Yeah.
And he says that Adam was made in his image. Why? Because of the law, statutes, and judgment.
That's right.
So he looked just like him. He did everything just like him.
Yes, sir.
Transgression. So in the generations of Adam in Genesis chapter 5, it goes down through the generations of Adam from Abel, Seth, Enos, and on.
That's right.
And he also says, reiterate, these were made in his image. So Abel and Seth were created in the image of Adam.
That's right.
Created in the image of Elohim. So the only way that we are created in his image is if we follow these law, statutes, and judgments with faith in Messiah.
That's right.
You just knowing you Israel don't bring you under the covenant of a saint.
That don't do nothing to Elijah.
It can't save
So you have to be wholeheartedly into this covenant. Meaning believing everything from Genesis to Revelation and everything attached thereon.
That's right.
There can't be no doubt in any part
of Messiah.
And we have to be walking in that same light.
Yes, sir.
Not just talking it, but
living
we have to be administering that to our daily life.
That's right. Put on Christ.
Put on Christ. That we be called the saints and his sons.
Because look, the volume of the book is written of it, from Genesis through Revelation. If you believe this book is tampered with, do yourself a favor and scratch holy off. You cannot have holy on her and you believe it's doubt in her. That means it's not set apart. That means it has fault. How can you find holy in fault?
One or the other.
Boy, look here. It's plain, y'all. Go ahead, Lysa. Finish that on that.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
On earth in the sight of men. This is what the Antichrist gonna do. You chasing a man right now with a prescription in his pocket. He can't make fire come out his rear end. Maybe he can if he eat beans and then light a lighter behind it. Fire shoot for a minute, but that ain't coming from heaven. Yeah, red pepper, something like that. That's all he gonna get. Shalom, Paul Jr. What's going on? What's up?
You got a prescription there.
Huh?
A prescription.
Yeah. Calling himself like that. So y'all, but he gonna make fire come down in the sight of men. It ain't gonna be behind no closet. It ain't gonna be like these magicians today. He just gonna command it, gonna put his hands up, and fire gonna come down. Just like Pharaoh's magicians were able to make blood, they were able to make frogs come up. The only problem with them doing exactly what Moses did, they was just doubling up the plagues in Egypt.
Dip on them saying.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we can do that. Well, go ahead and do it. Then you gonna just double up y'all trouble. Go ahead. What else to say, Lysa?
Verse 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Y'all understand? He had power to give life to this image of the beast that just looked just like this system, brought it back to life. And I want y'all to just think about these AI, y'all. They're trying to bring everything back to life now. Right now they have AI videos. If any one of your loved ones died, they could bring them back. They actually can make a video and have them talking like it's yesterday, like it's today. They'll be like, hey, Thomas over there, how you been doing, bro, since I left? And it's talking to you like it's this individual. They did it first with Kim Kardashian's father. On his birthday, they showed his AI image come to the party and talking to them like he'd been sitting there the whole time. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, they got this thing they talking about they're gonna do a reset. A reset of the whole world. That means they're gonna take it all the way back, start over, and start coming back forward again.
They're gonna start at Genesis 6. They're gonna start what they call the beginning of the world, is when the world got so wicked it had to be destroyed. Y'all have to understand that this is what they're going for because their time is short.
Yes, sir.
Esau's time is short. Jacob is about to take the heel of Esau. Their time is running out, but if they can extend it, and they'll extend it with fear, like they did with COVID. You want to lose everything, but that was not Fed law. Fed law, once Fed law put it into effect, and what I mean by this, yeah, they letting same-sex marriage, but the problem is they ain't stopped man and woman that the Bible identified the two from stop marrying yet. That's when you're going to know it's really in effect, that when they say if we catch a man and a woman marrying, we're going to lock you up. Then you're going to know they moved the laws completely out of the way. What they doing right now is just a state-by-state thing. Some allow it, but they may not be getting these benefits. They may not be getting the full benefits of a man and a woman today. But what they're going to do, when they do that, then you know they've taken control. Right now, what they're doing is just commonplace. Who has something back there? You two by anybody had anything? Go ahead. Continue on, Liza. Let's finish this one on up. You in 15 again.
16,
yeah.
15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So you'll be killed if you don't worship the image of the beast. Y'all understand? Shalom, Mark Wayne. So if you don't do this, you should be killed. Now it's moving to another level. The first 3.5 years is going to be all good with the Antichrist. He's going to stop World War III. He's going to bring every nation back to peace. He's going to stop the battle of the Caucasus Mountains, Russia and Ukraine. He's going to stop that. He's going to stop all of these problems we have. But the minute everybody starts saying this is God on earth and it must be, when he make lightning come down, then he's going to say, I require a mark on you if you want to continue to roll with me. Well, everybody will have their hand out because iniquity is already working now. They're already promoting, put a chip in your hand. You can control your car, your doors, everything. They're actually doing it already. People, and they're saying it has all your medical information in here. If you try to pop it out, it'll bust open, and the poison inside of that will kill you immediately. So it's laced with poison, like almost a cyanide-based poison within that chip, that if you try to dig it out after you take it,
It's going to self-destruct.
it's going to self-destruct, so to speak. Yeah, go ahead, Elijah.
Cut your hand off.
Cut your hand? Well, if you try to cut that off, it's going to be a problem.
I got shot with a shotgun back in the night. But anyway, I was going through the airport one day and I still had buckshots in my hand. And do you know that?
That scanner? Yeah.
And they said, what kind of metal is that in you?
Right.
I told them about that. They thought I had 3 of them still in my hand.
Yeah.
But I finally had the doctor remove it. But the thing was that scanner
Picked it right up.
It showed them buckshots in my hand.
Yes, sir. Y'all, they'll be able to see right through. They ain't worried about you trying to get through anything, y'all, and everything. I mean, right now it's a new app out there that if you can't, your credit score is so low, I forget, they just told me the name of it, but you can buy stuff like a layaway. It's a new app out there. A few people been using it already. You can, like if some $300, you can split it up into 4 payments. It's already paid for and you just pay them back. Now you got to have your bank account linked to it because you miss a payment, they say we're going to get our money. But there's no interest. Y'all need to understand this. There's no interest and we ain't worried about your credit score as long as you have a job. So what this doing is pulling everybody into this system because iniquity is already, you're getting rid of cash. If you check out at the grocery store, you get in the checkout line yourself, you cannot use cash. No cash. They tell you it's a big X right on the dollar. Get out of this line. Everything is conditioning you to not have paper money in your pocket. Go ahead, Sid.
Enterprise, when I was in an accident, they don't let you bring cash to rent the vehicle. You have to have credit card, so they go directly into your
Oh,
bank.
yeah. They go, and they gonna go directly in there.
They didn't put the money right back. I had to. The guy from Wisdom Bowl, he said, when you gonna put my money back?
Then he say my money too.
Yeah, they'll take it out your bank.
He say
But it
my
takes
money.
7 business days to get that.
Hold on,
Right now.
Yeah, go ahead, Agwayne.
Now they had this bank that didn't have cash. They didn't deal with cash. They got a bank. I think it's in New York somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't deal with cash.
And look, most shops are not dealing with. They put it on the door. We ain't no money in here, so that pistol you got, unless you gonna order transferring of funds, and we gonna track that too.
Right.
Go ahead, hold on, LC. Let me get LC. I'll come right back to you. Go ahead.
See, when you put cash in, you record it.
So you put cash in, they spit a card back out. Yeah.
There is a count, yeah.
And some of your, I know credit unions, you can only take, you can put a lot in, but it's only a limited amount of money you can take out.
Right, absolutely. So y'all, and look, but that's the deal. Y'all think they worried about giving these athletes those big contracts and now paying college athletes these contracts? You know why? Because that's electronic money. Because ain't nobody gonna go and say, I want to cash out at the bank and say, you like you Joy. Yeah, I want to cash out my $2.3 billion. Where you gonna put it at? Hell, he ain't even sold a house in Chicago yet. Where is he gonna go with $2.3 billion and the word gets out that Jordan emptied his bank account? And there's Negroes already when you go on vacation in your house and then already took over. Squatters. Every mattress gonna be flipped open. They're gonna find every secret compartment and they're gonna say, here's this $1 billion. So this is the only money we technically have is what you have in your pocket and what's at home. Because once the bank's locked, what they care about you calling? I'm calling, my debit card don't work no more. They're like, hell, we know it.
Give us 60 days.
Yeah. If they say that, they're gonna be like, look, you can come down here. They're passing out to Mark if you want to receive the rest of your money. You can come on down here. We'll put a chip on you and you can get your money. But just think about that. They're conditioning you to get it out of your pocket, get it from up under the mattress. So the only thing that's universal money that may work is gold. But they commandeering the market with that. They put it in the neighborhood, the pawn shop. For every dollar of gold you bring us, we're going to give you 2 cash dollars. Now, who wouldn't go for that license? 2 for 1, but they're getting all of the gold out of the city. Shalom, my John. Shalom, you young soldiers. Shalom, yeah. So y'all understand how this system is moving. Iniquity is already getting you prepared for what's already coming, so the transition will be easy.
They had my car shut down all last weekend because somebody tried to commit fraud, and the credit union just shut it down.
It just shut it down.
I couldn't get nothing till Monday.
Look, and it makes it inconvenient
I couldn't
for
do
you
nothing till Monday.
because that's what they're saying. We're gonna lock it down. What that's technically doing is saying we got you protected when you come under the mark of the beast. Yeah. See, we're gonna lock everybody down. Ain't nobody gonna be able to spend nothing until we get your account back right. You may suffer a little bit, a couple days, but we're gonna get your account back right, and you won't be charged for what's called fraudulent charges. But this where we at, y'all, is at this point. It wasn't here 100 years ago. Neither was it 100 years ago to destroy every man, woman, and child off of planet Earth. You know, if Russia launched, America launched, and China launched at the same time, there will be nobody on Earth tomorrow. This the time we in. That wasn't 100 years ago. To number every man, woman, and child on Earth wasn't 100 years ago, but they can do it today. Look, your phone is linked to your computer. If you type something in your phone, and they're going to ask you for your phone number, they link them together real quick. And you'll see exactly what's on your phone on your computer. Whatever you go search, it pops back up in an ad right there. They're like, oh, remember you was looking at Big Black. I know you didn't know nobody knew you was looking at that at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you still want to purchase from Big Black? You're like, no, swipe right. No, I don't want that.
Your
Reverend see
package
this.
shall be delivered.
Right.
Oh, no.
It used to be free. You didn't have to pay anything from it. Now they offer you, but like it's convenient to put everything on one bill, like your hell phone with your television, and then your
everything locked on one.
Yeah, but they make it convenient if you pay one price. But I said, if you on your phone, when you gonna have time to be on your computer?
Well, a lot of people work from home, but the deal is cut everything off.
But if they are able to program stuff from a satellite into your home, they can watch every movie you make and keep track of the phones.
And they've been doing it because ain't no more pay phone.
But the thing of it, when it was free, you didn't have to pay for nothing.
Well, look, it's right, and what they're doing now, they even getting you away from that because what's been taken over is called streaming.
Yeah.
TVs are being made with streaming. You ain't got to worry about going through. They're saying all you need is internet. We're moving away from them troublesome things. And you can stream on your phone. Look, this is a computer. This is the tree of good and evil. It's an iPhone. That's why the Apple already bit out of it. A bite is out of the apple. It's the tree of good and evil. You can GPS and see your grandmama you ain't seen. You can talk to her FaceTime. Y'all understand that? That's better than a phone call because you can actually look at them in real time. I don't care if they're over there in Hawaii that's burning up. They can tell you I'm hiding behind this tree that ain't burnt up yet. Get away! Get the hell out of there! Real time. We don't have to wait 2 weeks. We don't have to wait till in the morning. We can see it while it's going on right at that moment in that second. Live streaming. Anything you can do on a computer. Do you know this had more power than the space shuttle had? It's communication. This right here. I don't care what you look up. It'll get you there. It'll take you wherever you want to go. GPS. It'll say your location is on the right.
Correct.
Now they may not say the streets like we saying them, but you know it. Make a right on Bellefontaine. You like, that's Bellefontaine. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Make a left on whose ferry? You know, you like, I had one say, what was saying? Falan. Falan. They were talking about O'Fallon. But you know what they're trying to say, but I'm just saying that lets you know they're tracking your every move. And the first thing they do, you get in trouble. This is what they look for. Who got his cell phone?
You was over there.
Who got his cell phone? Not only this, I'm getting it out of the cloud. No, it's in the cloud. They'll pull back every text message. Y'all got them too?
Yes, sir.
Y'all got my text message too? I deleted them. No. You deleted them. We didn't. It's in the cloud. Understand what they're saying. That everything we put in is above. We're mirroring Christ. You know, your prayers go up through the cloud. So we're doing everything just like, and we're going to judge you from your cell phone. Because it's your consciousness. Just like the young lady, we're going to move on, that faked, that she saw a baby on the highway. Yeah, well look, that's all it could have been. Because somebody else would have done pulled over. You see a baby walking on his shoulder with a pamp on. Either it was them midgets and I'm going to get you sucker when he said, y'all come from up under them hats. You know them Evans twins and Lois Mitchell now? Yeah. So either it's that or it's Little Man, that movie right there. That's the only thing going to be walking on the highway at that time or more. And it ain't a whole boatload of cars. And she did all that lying because she was trying to get her boyfriend to move to engagement. Because he had them picked up another woman.
He moved definitely out.
He tried to scrub his account from her. They like, all you did was just scrub your account, your phone. You can use Ajax, you can use all of them fabulosos, but we still got everything in the cloud. You can't scrub it away. It's scrub proof. Y'all understand what we saying? This is where we at. That wasn't 100 years ago. Somebody say they've been saying about. They wasn't saying this 100 years ago. This wasn't available 100 years ago. And look, I may be about a year behind this iPhone 5. What they up to?
No, you more
I'm way behind. Okay, yeah, I'm way behind. Maybe it's an 8.
They on 14.
They on 14.
They on 14.
And look, if you don't keep up with it, they say we can't even send you updates no more.
Yeah. I can't get no updates on this computer no more.
You want updates? Get on the new program or keep looking at that old stuff you're going to do. And they wear you out like stealing bootleg cake. Eventually, you're going to get your own account. Especially when you hear somebody, what happened? Who tapping into my line downstairs? Finish that up, Elijah. You go ahead, Tommy.
Daddy, that could have been who's to say she was lying?
What? She was lying. She said she was lying. Yeah, she is. She said she lied. Look, she talking about it was some white dude with red hair. That ain't nobody but Carrot Top. They knew then she lying. She saying Carrot Top getting out.
They was feeding me.
Well, still, but. Yeah, but they gonna go through. They took the time to go through it. And then when they pulled her cell phone, guess what they found out?
They found out all her information.
How to steal money out of the register and don't get caught. So she working at a beauty salon. Does Amber Alert work for grown people? So that's all they did. They're like, oh shit, she lying. She's searching for a way to get out. So what that means is premeditated deception. So you planned this. You knew what you were doing. So now that you're not crazy because you planned it, we're going to lock you up. We're going to charge you for all the man hours. For every $1 it costs us to send somebody out there looking for you for 2 days, we're going to get you. And look, stopped at the store, got some trail mix and toilet paper.
Well, what about the bathrobe and the bus?
Yeah. Well, see, she had bathrobe and a busty. Cause she knew she probably had a place hid up in some bushes. I'ma lay down there, and if I have to drop a bomb, I'll have toilet paper. And they got everything off of her phone before they finally came with it and say, you know you lying. Yeah, I'm lying. I'm lying. They like, yeah, we know you lying. Now your parents just have to accept you lying.
Not my baby.
Boy. Finish that up, Elisha, so we can move on. You in verse what? 15, 16? We're in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16.
And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So the beast is saying, I don't care where you at on this earth. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're locked up in jail. I don't care where you at. This cause is going to make you, because look, they ain't going to open up the jail cell until you take the mark, so you ain't going to get no commissary. Whatever's in the cell, you're going to have to eat that, and that's going to run out, and you're going to die in that prison cell unless you take the mark of the beast. So where do you think that's going to go? And free, rich or poor, it don't care how much money you got, you want to keep that money, take the mark of the beast, or deal with what's in your pocket right now. So that makes everybody on an even playing field at that point.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? This is what they're ready to produce. They don't care about how much money you got because they don't deal with money. We deal with electronics, and they run nations. The heads of these governments, they run kingdoms. They're not concerned about some Negroes down in St. Louis. They're running nations and kingdoms. They don't deal with money. Money, you can't see them with money. They don't worry about jewelry or Rolex watches. They don't care about none of that material stuff. They say that's what we sell to you, to excite you. But we don't deal with that. We want the control of men. That's the most valuable thing on earth, is to control human beings.
Well, I got something for everybody, you know. You got to keep your old school calls, get some points in it. When they do EMP, shit just point out your old calls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See what he said?
But that's the whole program. They trying to get people to
Go electric now.
Electric, but once you on a grid, they can shut you down. They shut everything down.
Like if you take old phone, put an HMI drilled in it,
Yes.
now you're on the computer. But you keep the points in it, everybody else be sitting on the side of the road and keep going.
And notice y'all they're saying that for even cars, you ain't got to have no emission if it's under a certain year.
95.
You know, so we wanted inspection, but they're just trying to get a handle on all of those what's out there. Absolutely. Well, he got one over here. You know what I'm saying? He's got an old school over here, because they run off a carburetor. And they ain't got no PGM, no programmable management system, you know, the brain box. Ain't no brain box in them. You the brain. But if you got a cell phone with you and you in that car, they still tracking. You got to get off the grid. You have to get off the grid. And then you got to deal with what's called heat, thermal heat, the recognition, that where they can just see in the helicopter. They're like, oh shit, there he is right there, 98.6. Or it's either right there or that's Bigfoot. One or the other.
He's behind that tree.
Yeah. Go ahead, Elisha. Finish that up. So, y'all, we're in that time, y'all, that where we're going to truly have to depend on the Most High.
Yes, sir.
To save us.
Yes, sir.
You have to prepare your soul for death.
You have to prepare for that. You have to prepare, but you have to prepare for that anyway. Because tomorrow ain't promised to you. Hey, look here.
This walk, you already ahead of that.
Go ahead, Elisha.
You just mad because you ain't got some.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
See, there's a threefold. You can have the mark, or the name of the beast. What is the beast's name? You got to recognize who is the Antichrist. You have to say his name. You can buy, but saying his name is just not saying his name is Jerry Johnson. That ain't his name. His name is his law, statutes, and judgments. So when you tell his name, that means how do you practice? How do you feel about the Holy Bible? Give me it and I'll show you after I squat and take a dump of how I feel with it. Okay, you got the mark of the beast. Because you know his name. It opposes God.
Right.
So they'll never mention the Bible. That'll be his name, his set of doctrines. Because that's the Bible name. Ain't nowhere in here the Father ever calls the Son Yeshua. There's nowhere in the Bible. Yeah. There's nowhere in the Bible that the Son names the Father or call him Yahweh. There's nowhere. It's just Father and Son. He said, don't worry about what my name is. Just watch the works that I do. Right. That'll tell you if I'm following along what the prophet said. That's the name of God. If you don't understand it, once you name Chase Lane, that's holy name rolling. Anybody can say I'm the Messiah.
They tell Jacob, what you want to know my name
What you want to know my name for?
My name ain't important. Know my power.
That's what you need to know. Look, Moses said, if I go to the children of Israel, they're going to say, you ain't talked to God. He said, don't worry about that, Moses. He said, I'm going to make you a God to Pharaoh first. And then what I show them, they going to know I'm God. And that's what they said at the mountain. No, you go talk to him. You go talk to him. It's just too much power. It wasn't about no name. His name is the law, statutes, and judgment. That's how you going to know what name you follow. You can say the name. It's people that proclaim they Christ. We had 2 down here saying that they was Christ using the name. And people chase names. But Psalm 130, 139, 1 and 2? 137, 1 and 2, he said, I put my word above all my names. So you have to understand, this word is above all because those are titles. Mighty Redeemer, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. But for that to fit an individual, he must do the miracles. That's what convinced Nicodemus, who was a Pharisee. In John 3 and 3, he said, how can you be born again? Shall you enter into your mother's womb again? He like, you without understanding, and you a ruler in Israel. He like, what if your head is big as O.J. Simpson? You think you can go back up in your mama the way you came out? You a killer alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, so but I believe it. He said, I know these charlatans around here. He said, you have to be from God. Ain't nobody can do what you do. You're walking on water. I watch you raise the dead. You cured the blind. Man, we've been pulling stunts for the last year since you was, since you've been on this earth. We've been watching them. We know what they can do and what they can't do. You gotta be from God. And Nicodemus was the one who begged for his body along with the other guy, and they wrapped him up. So he was a converted Israelite Pharisee that knew at the end that the signs and wonders made him believe. And like Christ said, if any man that said, don't worry about him, don't worry about what my name is, just go show yourself. It's going to be self-evident. But we chasing names, and if you don't say Yahweh, if you don't say Ahia, you're just saying, if you don't say a title of his, how about King of Kings? How about Lord of Lords? How about the Mighty Redeemer?
Those names.
Look, see, if you want to run names, we can run any of them because that's all they are titles. You can run them names, but if you fail and break one of these, you're just disrespecting his name. When you disrespect your father's good name, if he got a business, is it because you John Jr.? Or is it because he's a roofer, you leave nails everywhere? You done picked up a crew standing in front of Home Depot, and it's 12 noon at the hottest part of the day. They ain't even got on boots, and you finna represent your father. No, you finna ruin his good name.
Shingles all crooked.
Shingles crooked. I ain't got nothing lined up. And how you on the roof at 12 noon? You gonna slide on the shingles and gonna mess them up too. And then you ain't picking up nails. Everybody in the driveway got flats the day later. You're ruining your father's good name. It ain't got nothing with you being John Johnson Jr. It means because he don't do that type of work. His work is guaranteed. You talking about the people call, they like, I'm at the store. You all over there working on my roof. And he said, I got my best men on it now. And when they pull up, they land on the hood of the car. You got your best men on it.
Yeah, on the hood of the car.
Yeah, let's get some more, boy. You finished that up, Lysa?
No.
Go ahead.
Here is wisdom.
Here is what?
Here is wisdom.
Uh-huh.
Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
Uh-huh.
For it is the number of a man.
Right.
And his number is 666.
So it's the number of a man. It's not 6 like Ronald Wilson Reagan. They were trying to say he was the Antichrist because each one of them had 6 letters in it. But it says it's a number system of man. So Roman numerals are Latin numbers. V equals what? 5. X equals 10. So his name will add up to 666. It'll be V5 such. Them first numbers will add up to 600. The second part of the numbers will add up to 60, and the last part will add up to 6. The dollar that you have in your pocket right now has a number system on it. It goes ABC all the way through the alphabet. If you look at H, there should be an 8 below it. Right? Who got a dollar?
You need a dollar?
I need a dollar. I just want to show this real quick. Got a dollar? I got a card. You got a card. Right. I got a dollar there. I got one, yeah. So you got a card, but look. This is J. And what's the number under that 2 by? If you can see that J, what's the number under that J? You squinching with glasses 2 by? No, go ahead.
Talking about that whole number.
No, I'm just saying you see J, and what's the number under that numeral number? It's a number right there. No, ain't no Roman numeral. That number right there.
Oh, talking about 10?
10. That's the number. Yeah. So go ahead. Look, number 10. But it's J, the letter J. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. How many is that? 10. That's why J is 10. So it's the same number system of a man. So it ain't telling you what number system it is. They're going to announce what language we're going to be speaking with this system. And that's going to tell you how to count the number of the beast. But it'll be 600. You got to add up 600. Then you got to add up 60. And then you got to add up 6 by letters. And that'll tell you who the mark of the beast is. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's iniquity already does work. So we're seeing it right now, a number system with our money. You know, so it ain't like we're going to be caught off guard. Let's get some more. Where we at? We finished that, then we like. Okay, so we got any more questions? I hope that did the abomination of desolation, what that was. And that's just the Antichrist proclaiming himself God. But Nat Turner working on a class, him and Brother Levi now. So I didn't want to go into detail on that because he's going to go through the book of Daniel. He's going to pick back up this Revelation. And he's going to go through the Apocrypha on some other things. So I didn't want to just, kind of cut his class off. He's going to pick back up on these. Right. I just wanted to answer that quick question. We got any more questions out there? You got any questions over there? We're going to hit that priesthood for you. Y'all going, bro? All right, Shabbat Shalom, bro. All right, now, y'all be safe out there. So,
got one in the chat right here. And I got
okay.
One up on the post.
Okay.
The chat says, it's Q real Levi 1, it looks like. It says, Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
Right.
But he shall be saved out of it.
Absolutely.
And you explain but he shall be.
He shall. See, that's a future tense. That means the remnant. Shall be. Jacob, now look, Jacob died before we even left Egypt. So he's talking about the offspring of Jacob. So we first must understand that because it's a last day prophecy. Jacob died in Egypt. So when you're saying Jacob, you have to, then that means Jacob's house. His offspring in the latter days, you're going to understand it perfect. He said, but he shall be saved out of it. There will be a remnant saved of Israel. 2/3 of Israel going to be slaughtered for disobedience. Just like Korah and Dathan them got swallowed up in the wilderness, there are going to be a number of Israelites get caught up in the wilderness and dropped in the wilderness 2/3 of Israel. That's why we're saying it's very important that you preach the gospel before you start telling somebody I'm Israel. Because you use that like it's a get out of jail free card. The Most High don't care calls you Israel. He said, I'll make stones Israel. Now I'm talking about obedience over sacrifice.
Right.
Obedience over sacrifice. What you got there, young man? What's that? Let me get that. Okay, all right. Go ahead, where we at? Go ahead, Thomas.
And when you say you must preach the gospel,
Yeah,
let the scriptures speak. Yes.
right. That's the gospel. And what that is the good news of Christ's second coming. If you're a non-messianic, you won't be preaching gospel. You'll be preaching the Antichrist that's coming because they're going to join up with the Antichrist. All non-messianics going to join up with the Antichrist as well because they're trying to make one now themselves. But he won't be accepted. Just like Benjamin Carter wasn't accepted. Just like Hulan Mitchell wasn't accepted. You know who accept them? The local state people. They may give them a key to the city. Or a mayor may come out and say, you're doing good with the community because you're rehabbing some buildings. But they ain't neither one of them showed up in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You know what that is? The White House.
It's like what you said again. They make him one now, but he won't be accepted.
No, see,
The Jewish Messiah.
I'm talking about now our people, Israelites.
Israel.
I'm talking about Israel putting men in place right now that won't be accepted. So they're going to accept the Antichrist. Because see, the Antichrist will let them continue with their shenanigans.
Because they still got that give us a king spirit.
Give us a king
So
spirit.
they're going to run to it.
Yes, sir.
Right, gonna give you the crook.
He's going to give it to you.
Well, that's a good title. Give us a king
Give us
spirit.
the king spirit. Yeah. That is.
If the Antichrist is going to exalt himself on the throne and call himself the king of the world, listen, where does it come when the whole world fights Israel?
When the whole world fights Israel, right before that, or right simultaneously after that, he's going to say this is the cause who's causing the war. See, he's going to allow Israelites to go back home if they worship him. Well, when that falls, there's Israelites in Jerusalem right now. We got Akda over there, Yisraela. We got the other sister who came to the award show. Sorry, sister, I can't remember your name. Forgive me. But we got people over there right now that they left with them groups, but they had to get away from them because they knew he promised after 7 years we're going to take Jerusalem. 14 years went by, 20 years went by, now 50 years went by, and they still on a B1 visa status at best. So this is what we're talking about, that there are going to be Israelites in Jerusalem that he say, if you be in Judea, flee to the mountains. The mountain going to split open. It's going to cleave from the east to the west. Zechariah 14 say it too. And it say, run down into the valley of the mountain, and the mountain going to close up. And nuclear warheads going to start flying at that point. But if you be in Judea, you still got to run. So this is what I'm saying. If you flee to Jerusalem, we're not saying you can't leave America and go where you want. You can go to hell wherever you want to. But don't think that that's no safety place, or don't think you're going to be in paradise, because you're not. There's no place on earth right now, even though they label them paradise, they have to deal with a threat from the Most High called storm. Wildfires got paradise in Hawaii right now. You think they thinking it's paradise? They still fishing people out. Shalom, butterfly. So they still fishing people out of the sea right now. A whole city right next to Maui burn up. California, because it's paradise. The sun shine all the time. It's good weather. But what they face?
Fire.
Earth, fire, and earthquakes. Where else you gonna go? You go over here, it's flood waters. You go over there, you got typhoons, you got hurricanes you got to worry about. All of that you have to worry about so that you won't think that there's a paradise for you to escape to on earth. Ain't no paradise. They're going to be in trouble from a storm of the Most High, because that's how he get the nations to correct themselves. And notice what they're doing right now in Hawaii. They keep showing this church. That's the only thing left in that one town that's standing. Now you can look at that two ways. Some may say, well, it was a Catholic church. Maybe that's letting us know we need to go to Catholic church. Or it could be letting you know this why everything burned up. Because we have to look at idols. We had to make the idol in the wilderness, the cross and the Hushaton. We had to drink the cow, the Molech cow when Aaron and them did that. We had to ground that up in powder and drink it. So he maybe want you to see this is your problem right here. I'm going to leave it standing for you. Just like that Jesus statue they got somewhere over in what's that, Peru lights on that mountain? It got struck in the head by 2 bolts of lightning a couple days ago. Yeah. Got struck in the head by 2 bolts of lightning. And you know.
They say it's been getting struck like that on a regular.
Because that's what he said.
The first or second time. They say it's been happening for a long time.
He gonna destroy their idols. Y'all, so this is what you have to prepare your heart for, what is coming. That's why we get practice with our feast days, Day of Atonement. Go 24 hours without eating or drinking and ride the Spirit. Hell, we suffer through that. Can't wait to dial DoorDash. Count it down. That's just 24 hours.
Be here when that sun
Messiah
comes
did
down.
960 hours. Elijah did 960 hours. Moses did 960 hours with no food or water. And we can't even do 24 on the Day of Atonement. And then start out wrong. Start lying at the beginning. If anybody I offended, y'all forgive me. You know the rules don't work like that. Hell, that list could be long as natural breed. Or who you done offended.
It obviously is.
If you don't know, you got to put out a blanket statement.
Hold on, Tom.
It was a church on 23rd and Benton. Down the alleyway at the front.
I remember. Yeah.
Soon as they got the end of that front, lightning struck that church.
Oh.
And it burned down. There was so many limos down there in the schoolyard, it was everywhere. And that was back.
Yes, sir.
Years ago.
See, the Most High, because he don't dwell in temples made with men's hands. We have to understand that. Acts 7:48, Acts 17:24, he do not dwell in temples made with man's hand. You'll never hear us say, if you come down here, the Spirit of God dwells in here. This is just a place of worship that we rent weekly. The Spirit is within the people. What you got right there,
I
Tom?
want to show you this. I walked through the new wing added to the hospital, and that's on the wall.
Oh, you see that? Show them that. That's the new Kojic sign.
Coming, what is it?
It's
Coexist.
coexist. All of the different religions. See, iniquity is already working, like you saying, Elijah. Show that to Elijah. Yeah, you good, man. They're going to think the screen is froze. Go ahead. Yeah, you say go ahead.
Took a picture. I was like, man,
You see that? That's what's on the back of cars now.
at the new wing.
But you're going to see it on all churches. Yeah. Now, this brutality deal with Israelites is doing the same thing, y'all. They don't care what you're under, what fashion of Hebrew Israelites you're under. They say we can all lump together and we'll get one government. So you got non-Messianic sitting on a council trying to govern Messianic Israelites. It don't make sense, y'all, but they're getting ready for the Antichrist. Because technically, they're getting all their teachings from the Kabbalah and the Talmud. Y'all know most of them teachings from them camps come out of there. Them the books that say Christ was born with a blemish. And you can have a little boy at 9 years old. All of that's coming from them teachings. And the hexagram, that 6-pointed star, that's a hexagram. That's Judaism. And it got nothing to do with these laws, statutes, and judgments. The Messiah is our shield. That's what David said. You my shield. You protect me.
That's putting a hex on you.
That's what it's doing. So that Jeremiah 30 is talking about the remnant of Israel coming out. Because read verse 7 of that. Jeremiah 30 and 7.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7.
Yes, sir.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it.
So we have to continue to go on and read some more on this, because he asks us also in the book of Amos, what is the day of the Lord like for you? Are you going to be ready when that sky crack open? Look, because it's going to be a time you're going to be pleading real then, because right now, y'all, that's why he can't tell us when the second coming is, because we'll wait till the last minute. Be like, what you doing, man? You know the second coming is supposed to happen tomorrow, man. I just wanted to see if you wanted to go over here, man. I heard they got something, you know. No. We'll do it all the way, right, up until the last minute.
No, damn.
Boy, look here.
Nowhere.
Look here, and most people, even people that's on a plane, instead of praying, what the first thing they say? They want to join the Mile High Club. If I'm going down, it might as well be fornication. Do y'all see that on every near-death experience? They don't try to get right with God. They go into fornication. Let me get with this woman I ain't supposed to. Right. Let me get with this man I ain't supposed to. Let me get with this horse I've been wanting in the barn.
Oh, no.
So you die in your transgression. That's what they do. I mean, watch them all. They all get into something wicked when they know death is finna come. Well, we might as well do it. That means you don't believe in the second death or the resurrection. No. What you got over there, too bad?
First of all, since you was talking about Manchester, England, Sister Cassandra.
Okay, sorry, Sister Cassandra, yes.
Her name is Grace Fabian.
Grace, yes, Sister Grace, absolutely, Sister Grace. She come here with that good King's English. You think she right off a good fellow and natural breed, living around Murder Mobile. But as soon as she speak, you be like, where you from?
Right.
Go ahead, where we at? Now we know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
The individual that asked that question about Jeremiah 30:7 says, when I asked them if that answered their question, they say, no, I was looking for curses going to the other nations, something we wouldn't experience.
Something we wouldn't experience?
Right.
Well, we still got, let's finish reading it, then we'll understand it.
Right.
Because the curse is going to go to the other nations, that ain't no problem. But what about the other nations that's willing to bow down and accept who we are? Those nations in Zephaniah, 8th chapter, that say, we hear you, Israel, we're going to go back with you. Right. For we hear God is with you. And what we got to do, we got to get into the Amos 11. We're going to hit that real quick, but just read this down so we get some understanding. Go down to verse 15 on this.
What was the question?
The question was Jacob's trouble. She want to see the other nations being punished.
Explain that he should be saved. He
should
be saved from it.
Well, what we're talking about, he shall be saved. That don't mean all Israel. That's why we have to go through Romans 11 the same way. Right. It's not the natural branch and the wild olive branch. Israel don't know who it is. There's three people in the conversations in Romans 11. It's the natural branch, it's the broken off, and it's the wild olive branch. There's three groups going on in Romans 11. Not one family that's splitting off. They do what's called verse teaching. I'll grab that one verse and I'll run my own doctrine off of it. The problem is because verse 11 of that same Romans 11, 9 through 11 say, and if the wild olive branch see this and they do these good things, blessings gonna come to them. Well, if the wild olive branch is Israelites don't know who they are, they getting a blessing. So why the hell do I care who am I are? I'm getting the same blessing you get. Right. I don't never have to know who I am if I get the same blessing. So it don't make sense. Then who's the broken off branch then? Who's the broken off branch? See, y'all, this is what we're talking about. Once you start running that all Israel gonna be in the kingdom, then Israelites gonna be your servants. Because they running the program already with that give us a king doctrine. They got Israelites on the corners like whores, dressed up, and they got one pimp, and then they got them as do boys, got them on all tables. They predict who they get married to, and they offer conjugal visits. Women sit on this side, men sit on this side. When the script say, let no man cut a marriage asunder. You can't go nowhere, and they split you up and say, your wife have to go over here, or the man have to go. The only time they have to do that is if they're going in the bathroom. Hold it, sir. Right. That sign has a dress on it. You can't go in there. Your wife can go in there and use the bathroom. That's the only time you'll see a separation. And hell, you can't go in the bathroom with your woman not at your own house, really. You better get on out of here.
What are you doing in here?
What are you doing in here? What you want in here?
You want to smell my
Right, what's that? Okay, this Sister Gracie right here.
And this one from Israel.
Okay, and the other sister, what's her name? I still got a shirt she sent it. Sent it to me. The sister gave me that shirt and sent us a couple other things. But y'all, we'll run this real quick down so we get some understanding of who this is, and then we'll get over to some Amos 5, and then we'll get to that Amos 11 so you'll understand. But what you're talking about is the nations being punished. You want Isaiah 59 and you want Isaiah 60 chapter. Now we can go to them first, but I want to run this Jacob's trouble first so you understand it. Down to 15. 30 and Elisha, you about verse 8. Verse 8. Okay, Isaiah. Run it down to 15. Run it down to 15 and then we'll run to they shall be. Understand, shall is based on you fulfilling a certain prerequisite. Right. You have to meet what it says, and then you shall be saved. Right. Just because you know you Israel don't make you saved. Right. If that's the case, everybody would have been saved in the wilderness the first time. Right.
Verse 8 down to 15.
Let's get it. Jeremiah 30 and 8.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 8.
Yes, sir.
For it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Right. But they shall serve the Most High their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So right here you'll have Israelites thinking this is the King David that is talking about. No, it's only talking about Christ came through David's line. So it's only using David as the head, like it's using Jacob. This is talking about the last days. See, that would have to be Jacob. This David then would have to be resurrected for it to work. So it ain't talking about King David. It's only talking about the seed coming through Jesse, who was David's father, and then Christ came through Nathan, who was because Joseph's line was cut off from kingship, so it circled back through Nathan, David's other son, and that's the line Mary came through Nathan. So it still came through the seed of David, and seed is male or female. It don't mean just a male, because you have to deal with Genesis 3:16, the seed of the woman. Revelation 12, the seed of the woman. You still can't move them out of the way and put it all on man. So this is an all-exclusive doctrine. All they're preaching is black supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? When you leave the other nations out. Nations came out of Egypt with us.
Black nationalism.
And they made it through the wilderness. Let's get some more. Where else you at?
Verse 9.
Yeah.
I thought it was on 10.
Yeah, you verse 10. Go ahead.
Yeah. Verse 10. Therefore fear thou not, O servant Jacob, O my servant Jacob, says the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity.
Does that mean male and female or just male?
Male and female.
Go ahead.
And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, says the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. But I will correct thee in measure.
What he gonna do?
Correct thee in measure.
He gonna correct us in measure, and the correction in measure is: do you believe in the Messiah? Well, no, I didn't trust. I thought that New Testament correct. You finna be corrected in measure. Go ahead. What else to say?
And I will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
What will I not leave thee?
Altogether unpunished.
So there's still a punishment coming for Israel, even after we deal with that. I'm not going to leave you unpunished. There's judgment for Israel. Go ahead.
For thus says the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy case.
Thy cause.
That thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine.
You ain't got nothing that's going to save you through this. I don't care what somebody telling you can use or you can do or who you can trust in. They gonna be on their kneecaps. Go ahead. What else to say?
All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity.
For the multitude of what?
Of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased.
Go ahead, bro, before we hit this last verse. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that means we can't go to Mars and escape this.
No, no, you no, no. Look here. We got some brothers already around this way talking about they just take a trip whenever they feel like it, man. But won't explain what's going on up there. You know, won't say it's a city up there and these the colors that they wear and these the type of cars they drive. How did you get there besides those mushrooms and LSD? Because that's the only way you got up there in your mind. You ain't been nowhere else, you know. Go ahead. And then like that, they should be able to tell about the second coming because everybody that went up talked about what's in Revelation in the book of Daniel. Right. They just repeated the same program. Ain't nobody going up there and then I saw the ancestors doing what? And they spoke with me about what? Yeah, and tell Junior, I just didn't like that wife beater he would wear to church. Tell him it's in that bottom drawer. What information they bringing back, Lysa? Foolishness. Just swirling around. You can't escape to Mars. Mars is farther than the moon. The moon is 338,000 miles away. That's according to their measurements. Now, you can't even go to Antarctica here on Earth that only gets 60 below zero. You have to be out of there by 2 p.m. or the motor oil will freeze. Where in the hell you think going that's 300 degrees below zero? And 1,500 degrees above Fahrenheit when the sun moves around it. Film melts at 500 degrees. So who taking the pictures, Lysa?
Right.
Let's get some more of that. Finish that verse 15.
Verse 15. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee.
And if you continue on reading it, then he'll tell you the remnant of Israel I'm going to bring back. Just the remnant of Israel. And you get on down further in there, you're going to see something about Esau as well. But give me a real quick. You want to go and read 16? We're going to read it out then if y'all want to read it out. Go ahead, read it on out.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
Right.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee. And I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High. Because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus saith Elohim, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, saith Elohim. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim.
Right.
Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Elohim shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days.
In the what?
In the latter days ye shall consider
So
it.
it's tell you the time of Jacob's trouble is in the latter day. And then it notice it said you going to be as high as governors, but ain't nobody going to be named king because we got one king.
Right.
So just hit a little bit of that Isaiah 60 and then we'll see what happened with the nation and we'll move on.
Hit that Matthew 8, man.
You want to hit that first or?
No, you can hit it after.
Okay. Let's go to this Isaiah 60. And y'all, this is just, and we're going to hit Joel, a little bit of that Joel too to let you know it's the remnant of Israel. You know, and this is what he's talking about. Israel is hard-headed. Only a remnant came out of the wilderness. 3,000 got buried alive. The earth opened itself up. There was no fun in the wilderness coming out of Egypt. We was warned with nations coming through, fighting our way back to Jerusalem. Some nations let us by. What say, like?
A whole generation had to be done
A
away
whole
with.
generation. 40 years of just circling for bad behavior and that till he weeded out the bad ones.
Purged out
Ain't
the
nowhere
rebels.
you was in there laying under shade trees in the wilderness. Hell, that'll be paradise. What you got over there?
Wasn't that because they said that the people in the land where they were told they were supposed to be there we were grasshoppers. They would destroy them. They were afraid.
You going up? Be careful out there, Jeremiah.
They were afraid to go into the promised land because of the giants.
Right. Well, all of that too, fear. See, it's fear. How you gonna move while you already scared? He don't deal with a scared people, y'all.
Right.
He don't deal with numbers. That's why we talking about, because you may see somebody in a bunch of colors and there's 200 of them. He don't need them. Read the 7th chapter of the book of Judges. When he told them, how many soldiers we got? 20,000. That's too many. They'll be saying we conquered these nations. We didn't
But
need
also,
God.
you know,
Number it down from 20,000 to 300.
But that even that Judges 7, what I had forgotten to mention during that class of quality
Versus quantity.
was the fact that that was part of the law.
Yeah.
Even in wartime, and if you look in Deuteronomy chapter 20, that certain men couldn't go to war if you just got married.
Yeah.
If you just bought a house.
Yeah.
And, you know, things of these nature, or if you were fearful.
Yeah.
Because a fearful heart would destroy the morale of a whole battalion.
Yeah, it will.
So those all went back to law.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
that was all part of law. You know, that if a man was just had a wife and he just bought a house or whatever, enjoy those
He had
things.
to take a year off.
Man, you had to take you couldn't go to war. Even though you were a man of war, you couldn't go to war.
And not only that, what else it did, Elijah, we weren't supposed to never let nobody know how many people we had in our army.
That's right.
See, that's why he say, I got 7,000 men, they never bowed a knee to bed. But he ain't telling us where they at.
Right.
But they ain't never been tampered with by another doctrine.
But they ain't running around running their mouths,
Sure
pumping
ain't.
their guns about any and every matter.
They just laying
You know what
low.
I'm saying? Like you have Israelites, and I'm not saying anything about Israel posting scripts and all that stuff, but you have to be very careful about how you dealing in this wilderness.
Yeah.
Of the enemy. I mean, because the day is going to come where they're going to, like Amos 8 say, they're going to become a famine.
Yeah.
Not of bread and water, but of the word.
Yeah.
And anyone caught with the word in their possession is going to be considered an enemy.
Yes,
and a
sir.
target.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to deal amongst your enemies in this wilderness. Just because you Israel doesn't mean you have to go and flaunt it. If people can't see your works and your actions, if they can't see your spirit in your actions, and you have to blurt out everything,
Or
it's
dress
like a
up.
gangbanger.
Yeah, that's
or
all.
somebody talking, man, I'm real. I'm
Yeah,
real,
I'm
dog.
real. I'm
If
real.
you gotta keep telling me you're real, you ain't real.
You
man.
ain't real.
Right.
Boy, you fake as a
You trying to convince me.
Right.
No, you trying to convince yourself.
Right.
Because I see the weakness in you.
Yeah. Yeah. You beating on your own chest.
Real killers don't talk.
No, they don't do it.
No, when it's time to get busy, they get quiet.
They get quiet. And
they
you be
won't
having
solo
to wonder
ball.
then.
But no, you puffing up and boasting about everything, then you make yourself an easy target. We know exactly where to go get who we need. They right here.
And
just
you-
turn on social media. They put it all out there. And I'm not saying anything against you posting scripts or doing whatever. and being, you know, loving who you are and putting it out there. But be very careful. That's all I'm saying. Be very careful of the information you putting forth.
Yeah.
And how you putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
In the devil's eye.
Because you, Israel, don't give you automatic protection, because we even looking in Jacob's trouble. He's saying, the only reason I'm have to even do this is because of y'all iniquity. Y'all wouldn't even be captives to nobody if y'all just would obey me. So I'm going to see if y'all got y'all minds right before I bring y'all back home again. If not, I'm getting rid of the Dathans and Korahs again. I'm going to get rid of you. Go ahead. And what's left coming back to the promised land. Go ahead.
Wise as a serpent, humble as a dove.
That's how you have to be.
Show not every man your heart.
You can't.
What happened to being low, flying low, and not being under the radar and not being
That's gone.
Social media.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Look at me.
Look at me. Everybody wants to look at me. Lovers of them own self.
That's the greed of your own lust.
That's all it is. It's called flesh talk.
Right the devil hand.
Flesh talk. So let's get this real quick, y'all, because we want to get caught up. Isaiah 60. But just so we see the Old Testament always match up with the New Testament. Just hit 59 and 17 through 20, because that's going to show the Messiah dressed like he told us in Ephesians 6 and 9 to put on the whole armor.
That's right.
Our Heavenly Father dressed the same way he wants us to be dressed. That's the uniform we need to have on. Not purple. Not nobody telling you need to be white or doing anything like that. You can wear any color you want to, but just to try to make it purple, and understand that they mock Christ in a purple robe. They put thorns on his head. And Free Case rating them talking about, oh, we just do it as a sign that they mock. Then put a crown of thorns on your head too. Let a little blood trickle. You want to do it, do all of it. Just don't do the part that satisfy you. Put that crown on it and let somebody smash it down on your head made out of thorns. Right. Then we know you mocking for real then. Right. But you just got on pretty purple, and we know the real deal because you were a Prince fan. You was his #1 fan. Purple Rain. That's the real deal. You wear it.
You say how you and your parents are born.
No, I don't think that's how.
Go ahead.
You sound like a sick blood or something.
Go ahead, bro. Isaiah 59:16 real quick.
All right, before I jump down to 16, let me hit this 1 through 3.
Go ahead, bro. Isaiah 59, 1 through 3. Go ahead.
Behold, the Elohim's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save. Neither is his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But your iniquities.
But your what?
Iniquities have separated between you and your Elohim. And your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue have muttered perverseness. Muttered perverseness.
You know what that's talking about? Y'all hold it down back there shorty. Muttered perverseness is just like mumbling. Nobody care about, man, ain't nobody. Mumbling perverseness.
You ain't even got enough spirit to say it loud.
Sure, just mumbling.
He said we murmured in the wilderness.
Walking around in the building.
Murmuring. That's called murmuring too. Go ahead, Elisha. You jumping down to 16?
Murmuring causes sin, great affliction.
Yeah.
Jump down to 16.
Yeah.
And he saw that there was no man, and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness it sustained him. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate. And
when you look at Ephesians 6, it's the same thing. Put on your breastplate of righteousness. Go ahead. Paul is speaking the same thing, man. Go ahead. What else to say, Elisha?
And a helmet of salvation on his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of the Most High from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Elohim shall lift up a standard against him.
Here 20.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion.
See, it ain't no name, it's just Redeemer. That means who's going to get us out of bondage, our Redeemer, because can't no other nation have redeemed us out of bondage. When you look up the word bondage in Israel, I mean in the dictionary, it's going to say to hold fast, and or going to say as of the Israelites, because ain't no other nation been in bondage. If another nation redeem us, if they say, I want Israel, I'll marry this put away whore, I'll marry them and become their God, then they become our Redeemer. Then our God can't remarry us, because he can't take us back if we become somebody else's wife. But don't nobody else want us as a wife, because they getting out of us for free. They in our shop, in our neighborhoods, they run us like mules, and they're paying us these high wages as athletes. Do you know, giving you $100 million a year to play basketball, they know sooner or later you ain't going to be able to get the money. We ain't paying you like that for nothing. You won't be able to put that in a bank account. Hell, they houses get broke in when they go to award shows, don't it?
Yeah.
Now you imagine all of their fortune in there when these people plotting on them. Okay, they at the award show, they just call them on stage. Go on in there. And take all your stuff. Go ahead, read a little bit more of that, Elisha, down to where you at?
20.
20 again.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion,
Uh-huh.
and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Most High.
Read that verse again.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Most High.
So you have to turn from your transgression, being the seed of Jacob. You have to turn from that first. Then the Redeemer will pick you up. But if you still in your same mindset, cause you Israel, you shall not be saved. This is what it means, shall be saved, if you turn from your iniquity. He says that, and then he run it to you why you're in that position. Yeah, I'm going to save you, but you got to stop what you're doing. You got to stop them felonies first. And them felonies in 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, them felonies in Ezekiel 18, and the felonies are, know ye not that if you doing these or practicing these, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Those are the felonies. Y'all, we got that best. Just try to do a misdemeanor at best, and where you can pray it away. You know, Lord, just forgive me. I just slipped again. You know, I can't do it. But them felonies, and you're practicing them, that's going to be a problem. Them felonies are listed, and they cause problems. What you got over there, Tom? Them felonies, 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, and all of Ezekiel 18 chapter. Felonies, or anywhere in Deuteronomy that say, if a man doeth this, is an abomination. Those are felony. Anything that say abomination is a death sentence with the Most High. And you go on death row immediately. Now, if you're practicing that sin, that's what's called iniquity or wickedness, because now you're practicing it. Now you figure out a way how to get around the law. So you just practice your evil. That's called iniquity. Ezekiel 18 chapter, all of it. All of it. And any Deuteronomy, any Numbers, any Exodus that you see, it's an abomination.
All the first 5 books, which
Yes,
is
sir.
the law.
Yes, sir. Whatever in there says abomination is death penalty. You cannot escape it if you die practicing it. Understand the difference. We're not saying, because Paul say, as some of you were, as some of us were, but you can change your ways, so it's understood that you may have been practicing. But to know what they are and don't practice. It's like now, people try to dodge felonies now. You get a 15-year-old in the car, you steal a car, you put it on him. Here, you hold a pistol and you drive the car. If they say anything, they can't charge you as an adult. That lets you know what a felony is in this nation. Right. So just like we know the felonies of God, if you follow Pharisee doctrine, if you follow camps that let a man run things and you stand up at attention for him, you're a candidate for this, because it says, except your righteousness exceed what? You have no part in the kingdom. So if anybody leading you on with Pharisee type doctrine, dressed up a certain way, following one man, then that's going to be a problem. You into Pharisee doctrine. And it's not going to be allowed in the kingdom. The Most High ain't never needed a gang on no street corners or nothing. The only time we read Hebrews on the corner was Paul, Silas, and who else was it? Was it Peter too? That they got locked up.
Yeah, Peter from time to time.
It was just 3 of them, and they got let out of jail by an angel, and them 3 went back on the street corner. Not 300.
Right.
Not 30 or 40, because they gonna get idle holding the sign. And when it come their time, that's right, they then put up a sign. You ain't doing no work. You calling that work, screaming and hollering. Work is go door to door and knock on that door and tell them, have you heard the good news about Christ coming back? At that door of that house. You screaming at cars going by. Yeah, nigga, you ain't gonna be driving that car for the kingdom.
Sent the 12 disciples out at 2.
Go ahead.
The 70 others by 2.
Then send them out by 2. 70 more in Acts, and then he divided them by 2. How many gonna take on the Antichrist?
2.
Where the gang coming from? And got they wearing their covers. What you got over there?
Rome.
Well, and as far as following people, I don't know, maybe a dumb question, but is that why they took Dr. Martin King and Malcolm X? Because people were following them like that?
Well, the government said they could find out who they are, and that's going to cause a problem. He said, that's a threat to us because they're doing it by nonviolence. See, that was the threat. They're not worried about nobody talking about like them boys that their leader just got locked up, the ain't effing around crew. You know, out there with Donald Trump. Their leader pointed his gun up at he saw the FBI, and he just did like that, and his laser went up there. 20 years. 20 years off the top for just pointing the laser up there at the federal government. 20 years. You can't even point a pin laser at a helicopter. You'll get locked up. So what they're talking about is if you have a power movement and you're saying God is going to punish you. Now notice Obama's, every president have to have their own priest. Obama chose Jeremiah Wright. But Jeremiah Wright come out the gate saying, GD America. They like, no, you got to get another prophet.
Right.
So they wouldn't let Obama have Jeremiah Wright, his preacher. They told him, you got to get somebody else. And next thing you know, here's a Catholic priest bringing them in, versus Jeremiah Wright. Because Jeremiah Wright, like, man, I don't care nothing about America. GD America. They like, no, he has to go, Obama. Yeah, look that up, man. They tell you that, man. So this is what we have to understand, that they going to always have what's called an oracle or a spiritual man always around. Once they nominate who it is, then they move them right to the church, and they put the blessing over them. Whoever that priest that they choose. But it wasn't going to be Jeremiah Wright. They almost shut him down completely.
Or when he was campaigning, boy, they were like, no, you're going to have to separate from him.
Yeah, right.
Because, boy, he was all up in America, but...
Yeah, he was.
They put him on social media for that time.
Where you at? You're in verse 21 of that, 21. Isaiah 59.
As for me, this is my covenant with them.
See, once again, we get with that covenant.
Yes,
y'all understand this. The only people he dealing with, Israel, is under that covenant. You, Israel, and you ain't got the Messiah under that covenant, you're not part of the remnant. You're part of the 2/3. Let's get some more.
My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed's seed, saith the Most High, from henceforth and forever. Now we'll get into this Isaiah 60. So the question is, what are the nations? When we get into the last book of Joel, it'll tell you, look, we won't even get to punish those nations. Ain't gonna be no raping, ain't gonna be no genital cutting off in the kingdom. It's a kingdom of peace and righteousness. It say, you're gonna sell those nations, those who did it to you, like the Africans sold us to America, we're gonna sell them to the Sabians. And the Sabians will divvy out those bad nations to the other nations to rule that harsh treatment on them. And the Sabians, you read about them in Job, the 1st chapter, them was the ones that attacked Job's herdsmen, and they were jack artists. The Sabians come out of the seed of Ishmael, but they jack artists. They known for straightening out bad people. That's what they do. Who you got ain't bad, because they dealing with Mr. Bad right now. Sabian.
And the book of Joel says that we're going to sell them to the Sabians. So if you got yourself pictured in your mansion in the kingdom, and you come here, I want to cut your testicles off. You won't be doing it in the kingdom of Messiah.
No.
You may be doing it in some man-made kingdom.
But you won't even have that mindset.
You won't even have that mindset, Elijah. It'll be like Abraham with his servant Eliezer, who was a Syrian.
Right.
He thought he was going to be the covenant blessing. Who you talking about, Eliezer? The one that went and seen about Job. I mean, not Job, Lot and Sodom. And the one that went and got Rebekah for Isaac, his son. That servant, who was like his own son. That's what the nations will be like in the kingdom. You ain't going to have Hitler watching your children.
No.
You at the temple like yeah, God bless her. Yeah, man, you know, I'm going to get on out of here, dog, because I left Hitler with the children. If he messing up, I'm going to cut his head off and cut his goods off in front of the children. Please, in whose kingdom?
You ain't going to have no children at all.
The damage going to already be done.
To be done, right. You get back, Hitler boy going to be high stepping in. Yeah. What you got, Tom?
I got a second witness to Isaiah 59 and 21. Where it says your seed. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58 and 59.
Yeah.
If thou wilt not hearken to us to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God. Verse 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance.
And we've been suffering for 400 years because our seed keep doing the same thing. Over and over. But run this 60, y'all, because we run out of time. I know we got another question. Go ahead.
Isaiah 60.
60 and 1. Yeah.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of thy Elohim is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Elohim shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and of Ephah. All they that from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praises of Elohim.
See, that's the same thing when we left Egypt. They spoiled us. Gold gave us everything. Fancy clothes, everything. Just get the hell out of Egypt. Go ahead. What else to say, bro?
All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Naboth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with the acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify thee, thy house of my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as doves to their window? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Elohim thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel. So
it said the ships of Tarshish. Now, a lot of people try to make that slave ships a different thing, but when you look up Tarshish, that actual location was in Turkey. So they had like the first Carnival cruises built there. But ships of Tarshish is just saying any mode of transportation that can move a large number of people. It's like these camps that tell you Osiris. See, in the book of Sirach, 40th chapter, see, it said they went to Osiris. That means America. It ain't a piece of what is it like? First Ezra. It ain't a piece of document on this earth that says Osiris is America. Osiris means a place uninhabited or not discovered by human beings yet. That could be over the 4 planets of this earth. Four corners of this earth. Thank you, bro. 4 planets. Yeah, four corners of this earth. Thank you, sir. That could be anywhere on this earth. It could be anywhere on this earth that have not been discovered yet. That's where it's saying Osiris. I'm going to send them to a place that ain't. That don't just mean here in the West. And then when you got here, the hell, the Indians was already here, wasn't it? And you say they Israel, but yet you won't charge them for not wearing a beard. No, it's not an Indian on file with a full beard and mustache, sitting back chilling.
Or for their drunken behavior.
Or for their drunken behavior. Why won't you run the beard in them? They get on me. Look at Daniel up there. He ain't no real teacher of Israel. He ain't got no beard. What about them Indians on that 12 tribe chart? They ain't got no beards, and you steady running them? You steady talking about them, but you don't never mention the transgression of them not having no beards, do you? Have you ever heard Elisha? And why they keep chasing idols? Jimmy running bird. Susie flying hawk.
Because they worship the creation and not creator.
You beardless and we bald.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
We just got a problem.
Go ahead. Where else we at on that? Go ahead. Where else you at on that, Elisha? 60 and 9?
9. No, 10.
Uh-huh.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Uh-huh.
And their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Uh-huh.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be closed, shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought.
Uh-huh.
For the nation and kingdom that would not serve thee shall perish.
What they gonna do?
Perish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
So that's when the wasting start. If those kings, like in Zechariah 14, they got to come up. If they don't come up, then they get no rain in due season. No rain, no crops.
No crop, no feeding.
No feeding of the flocks. No feeding of anybody if you don't get no rain in due season. So it's the same thing right here. Read that verse 22 again, Lysa. Verse 12, I'm sorry. Verse 12, I'm sorry.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Uh-huh.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Uh-huh.
The sons also of them that afflicted
The
thee.
sons of who?
Them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Most High, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
That's what they're going to call us, not Israelites. They're going to call us, y'all, the city, y'all, the people, because the city is made after the people. You understand? The city is nothing without the people there. Just like Jerusalem is nothing without us there now. It's trodden under the foot of the Gentiles. Right now, they lead the world in the gay pride parade in Jerusalem. You know that, huh? They number one. Down the streets of Jerusalem, switching with dog chains on, men in diamond encrusted thongs.
The parade.
So this is what we're talking about. It's not in that point yet because it's debauchery going on. Is that a word? Go ahead. Yeah.
Really here.
Go ahead.
Where am I at?
15.
15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellence, a joy of many generations.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breasts of kings. And thou shalt know that I am Elohim, am thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
And when it's talking about sucking the breast of kings, that just means they could be nursing. Instead of like our mothers had to nurse their children, they'll be, watch my baby for me, That's their job while we go here, take care of the children, They'll do the same. And they'll be kings, they'll be butlers and different things. You understand what we're saying? Right. So that will be that's how they'll be the nursing mothers and fathers. Right. Because the slave master even trusted Mamie in the house while they went to sleep.
Right.
So, and she would raise up the children. Remember Rosewood? When the boys came to kill Esther Rose, she said, nah, Jimmy, you know, I nurse you, Jimmy. Jimmy say, well, some nigga done killed somebody, the word we getting, and nursing mama, we gonna have to put some bullets through them breasts right there. You know, and they probably weren't gonna bleed milk. But they killed her.
And the one white boy, he said, man, she raised all of us.
She raised all of us. So we get to see it is only happening to one group of people in prophecy. So that's all that means. That don't mean you just gonna be like Donald Trump have a brassiere on and then pull his man breast out. No, I don't mean that at all. Go ahead. Go ahead, man, that orange breast. No, we be sucking on orange breasts. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
For brass I will bring gold. And for iron I will bring silver. And for wood brass. And for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteous. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
What ain't gonna be heard no more? See, so you get that out of your mind that you're gonna be castrating in the kingdom. No, he ain't gonna allow that, because the nations didn't do that to us. The Africans knew we was in their land. They like, it's some Israelites over here. What y'all giving for them? We got beads and whiskey. You know, you can rub these beads. These beads is magic. And they sitting on gold mines and diamonds and didn't know. Fell for the beads. And whiskey, fire water. Go ahead, Elisha. What you say? Stuck on stupid and glued to dung. Go ahead.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land. Wasting nor destruction within thy border. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day. Neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Most High shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power thy glory.
And y'all can read the rest of that, but we just wanted to show you that to let you know. Now hit just a little bit of this Joel, and we're gonna move on to the next question. Start that Joel 3, and you might as well start at 1 through 8. And y'all read Job 1 and 15 if you want to know who the Sabians are, but that's their mission. Jack artists. Them jack artists was on the road that caught Joseph in that pit. Sabians. Slapped him around a bit. If your daddy was Jacob, my daddy got paper. He would tell him, my daddy got paper. My daddy got gold. We don't want to hear that, nigga. Get on the back of that camel. We taking you into Egypt to sell your ass.
But wait a minute.
Didn't ask who he was, just pulled him out of there and took him on the road and sold him to Pharaoh. Joel chapter 3, verse 1 through 8. Joel right before Amos, which is right before Nahum, which is go to your index. You get there real quick.
I went past it twice, that's what I did.
Joel 3 and 1 through 8.
Job chapter 3, verse 1.
Are we looking at everybody there?
Lynn just fell out. I got it, bro.
Ugly.
For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Y'all understand this? Giving a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine. That's how much they got us for. Can you imagine that? The children of Israel, the nations, like they ain't got a clue. They got the gold mine. Don't they know if they shut up Chinese shops and service stations on Goodfellow and Natural Bridge, they'll be rich, but they sending them away? Go ahead.
Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
And that verse 3 of that selling a boy for a harlot, It's a movie out there that they would not allow in America for a long time, but you can find it. It's called Goodbye Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
It's the most
Uncle Tom
graphic
Cabin.
slave movie ever made.
It's called Goodbye Uncle Tom's Cabin.
It's cabin on the end of it.
Yeah.
But it's called Goodbye Uncle Tom Cabin. But it's the most graphic picture, and you're going to see a boy sold for a harlot. They
You gonna
actually
say
got this little boy.
Man, I thought somebody was actually filming the action.
The boy, because it looked so real.
So real, man.
They had him in glitter and a bikini on. A little boy about 9 years old, between 7 and 9 years old, and had him just sashaying around, and they bidding on it.
Dude,
And they sold him as a harlot to the men.
to keep asking. Man, I don't want no cameras around doing that time.
Instead of a woman.
But
Yeah.
it was that realistic.
It was that realistic.
It was that
The
realistic.
rape
that
scenes, I'm
you
like,
would
wait
think
a minute.
That somebody actually was back then filming it.
Yeah.
They dropped the
Is
chicken
that
on the
real?
floor. Them dudes, them young boys was eating the chicken off the floor. How they fake that, man? They picked that chicken up. I saw them.
No, when they bust the boy's teeth out.
Teeth
of
out,
it.
boy.
And force fed
And
him.
force fed them. Yep.
And force fed
And
him.
all the teeth coming out and blood and I'm like, man, this look
Blood
real.
in his oatmeal.
Boy,
It looked
he
too
was
real,
mashing the
man.
teeth.
And
They
they-
put a funnel right in a wooden funnel and knocked the teeth out and poured honey and oatmeal down there
Down
so
his
he'll
throat.
stay alive. Because they were going on hunger strikes. On the
They
way
knocked
over here.
all his teeth out, man.
But if you watch that movie, America wouldn't
Boy,
allow it.
I'm telling you, it looks real. Like,
It's on
Just
YouTube
like
now,
that.
yeah.
But they don't want you to bring that up now. They don't want you to bring that up.
But if you want to see a boy sold as a harlot,
You want to see
now that
graphic
same
bondage?
doctrine is in the Kabbalah and the Talmud.
Yeah.
And a girl sold for wine. A bottle of wine, take your virgin daughter. Give me that. Give me that bottle of Mad Dog. You can take it. Huh? What? Oh, going out? Yeah. We'll get it lit back up. It's almost the oil is getting low. Thanks, brother. Go ahead, finish that up.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah, and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Greeks.
Who you sell them to?
The Greeks,
Uh-huh.
that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and I will return your recompense upon your own head, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans.
Who they gonna sell them to?
Sabaeans, to a people far off.
Like they sold us far off. Go ahead.
For the Most High hath spoken.
And y'all read the rest of it, y'all see how it gets into more detail, but it's saying pay back to your faith. We don't sell them to Judah, these the bad boys. Y'all can sell them to the Sabians. Y'all want to see them, also look in Job chapter 1 verse 15. You'll see who the Sabians are. They've been around a long time and they handle dirty work for anybody.
Before
They
we
jack
go to
off.
the next question, hit this Matthew 8 and verse
Yeah.
11 and 12.
Matthew 8, 11 and 12, y'all, really quickly. And y'all, that's what we want. I hope that answered that Jacob's trouble question, because a lot of people want payback, but that's why we went to the Isaiah 59. He said he's clothed in vengeance, though. We don't have the vengeance clothes on until we get white robes. If you one of the ones that come back with him with a sword, you'll get it then. But you ain't guaranteed no sword right now. You got to guarantee you don't get the sword. You got to get through the wilderness to even get a sword. You just ain't gonna be handing a sword and wicked as hell. No, I'm good, Imam. Yeah, you just put them right here though. Yeah, thank you very much. You got to make sure your election sure. Thank you, Imam, so much. Thank you, Imam. Go ahead, bro. Where we at, license 8 and 8?
Matthew chapter 8 verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven.
Uh-huh.
But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out unto outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Now hit that Romans 2 and 9 for me real quick. 2, 8, 9. And we'll see why. See, this separates. And when Israel shall be saved, it's talking about those who come back to their rightful mind state through the wilderness. You're going to be saved. There's going to be a lot of Israelites get cut off, y'all. Just think about it now. Everybody in here talking about, I just can't get my auntie, my uncle won't listen, my sister and brother won't listen. That's even going on in your own household right now. You think the Most High is just going to say, well, okay, they just didn't get it like you. If that's the case, we should just do what we doing. Don't do nothing. Don't study nothing. If everybody going to get in, what we doing down here then?
Right.
What we doing classes for? For what?
Right.
See, that's Hebrew Christianity. The same way like church saying, all you have to do is say his name and you say, Jesus, and you going to heaven. No work. No keeping of the commandments. Just say his name. And they're saying the same thing. Just say you Israel and you can get in the kingdom. Not according to this book. Maybe some Negro then wrote some other book. But go ahead. Romans 2:8-9.
Romans chapter 2, verse 8.
Hold on, Emo. Go ahead, Emo. That was Matthew 8.
8, verse 11 and 12. But that goes all the way back. Go back to verse 1.
Go ahead, Romans 2:8-9.
Romans chapter 2, verse 8-9.
Yes, sir.
But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation.
Hold on. Somebody catching up? Yeah, I hear a few pages flipping. That's Romans. That's in the New Testament. It's behind Revelation. I'm just messing with y'all. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. Just see if they ain't paying attention. Put a mark put a mark in your index. Go ahead, bro.
Romans chapter 2, verse 8. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, and wrath.
Do you understand? People obey indignation, unrighteousness, and wrath. That's what they obey.
They bring chaos.
Bring chaos. Go ahead.
Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil. Of the Jew first.
Of the who first?
Of the Jew first. And also of the Gentile. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile.
Now hit that Romans 11.
For there is no respect of persons with your house.
So he don't care who you are as a people. If you obey unrighteousness, then that's your God. Don't come around here. Don't think you just going to slip through the door. Because y'all have to understand, Korah and Dathan was so wicked that he told Pharaoh, if y'all remember the 10 Commandments, Edward G. Robinson, he said, you'll kill your own mother, wouldn't you? He said, if it pleased the Pharaoh. That's how, and he was from the tribe of Reuben.
And he put blood on his doorposts.
Dathan did, like when you're watching the 10 Commandments, but it tells about Dathan and Korah in the Bible. That's who rose up the crew of Israelites against Moses, who made Moses strike the rock. That was that crew in the wilderness. Man, them brought us out here, man. Ain't nothing to eat out here, man. We did, man. We could, we had drive-through in Egypt, man. We could order DoorDash, and now we out here in the wilderness, ain't got nothing to eat. And then you still have groups talking about escaping to the wilderness, and they wanted to go back to Egypt.
But they listened to him when he told them to put that blood on the doorpost.
Yeah, he at least did that because they're benefit believers. We're going to have a lot of Israelite benefit believers that's going to put the blood on the doorpost when the horn blow. Everybody going to try to get on board then, but they still coming to that rod of correction. Real quick, a little bit of that Ezekiel 20. You finna head out, Elijah?
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit of that Ezekiel 20:33. Just a little bit of that. So you understand this gathering is going to be the same. Shalom, Elisha. Be careful out there.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33.
Verse 33. 33?
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? No, the teacher ain't there yet.
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
Ezekiel chapter 20.
Huh? Okay, he good, yeah.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33. As I live, says the Most High Yahweh, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
To the wilderness of the who?
The wilderness of the people. And there will I plead with you face to face.
And plead, this ain't like a plea in court, that where you make a plea deal, that's still meaning you guilty. It's almost in the same sense, because he said that's how I'm going to judge you. I'm going to plead with you. I'm handing out plea deals. Right now. This is what's going to happen. So go ahead.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, says the Most High Yahweh. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you unto the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
What he gonna do?
I will purge out from among you the rebels.
So that's letting you know all Israel ain't gonna be saved. There gonna be some rebel Israelites, just like it was in the garden. Go ahead.
You mean in Egypt?
In Egypt, I'm sorry. You were in the garden too? Yeah, go ahead. Adam and Eve was rebels. Go ahead.
And them that transgressed against me.
And them that do what?
Transgressed against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Most High.
So you read the rest of that. So the second coming is going to be just like it was in Egypt. He going to bring us out. You know, but we got to pass under the rod because we got benefit believers.
Got to purge out
they
the
going to jump on the bandwagon. Look, we got people around these parts that then got so high-minded that they now say that they can get out of their body and go do different things. And then things, the plants and stuff is talking to them. And the ocean told them, you one of 7 human beings on earth that can only talk to plants. You're one of the 7. First of all, we want to know who the other 6 are. And are they dead? And then we need to show in Scripture where the Most High said there's 7 people I put on earth that's going to be able to talk to plants. See, that ain't in the Bible. That's just someone keep moving up the level to be some great one, but it's just sorcery. They done run out of dealing with the product that they trying to sell to you to make you whole. They got to up the ante because everybody doing that now. So now I'm talking to, I can walk up to a lily and say, bow yourself down. And what'd you say? Do what? They ain't gonna believe me. No, we ain't gonna believe you. So this is what we're talking about. It's talking about, and then you chasing something. I'm one of 7. I'm one of 7. 7 of what? Where that's written at? What we read in Ezekiel and Romans. I got 7,000 that ain't never bowed and need a bell. And they ain't mentioned nothing about being the Dr. Doolittle of plants. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But these rebels gonna jump on the bandwagon because they got a little bit of this in their history, and they gonna come down to the rod, but it's gonna be shown up. What's that in your pocket? Your pocket full of crystals?
I'm one of y'all.
Yeah. What's that in your pocket? What you got an idol in your pocket? See, when they hear the horn blow, it's like when somebody hear, okay, the camp done moved, you know, because we done moved around like we in this wilderness. We done started in Walnut Park and Jacob Israel house. Well, and then it was in my house out in Jennings. Then we moved over to this church in the neighborhood. Then we moved down on Page and Teller, on Delore. Then we moved to Page and Teller. Then we moved to Natural Bridge, and then we moved to Natural Bridge and Union. Then we moved to Natural Bridge and Goodfellow. Then we moved to here. So we've been moving through the wilderness. You understand? But it's been the same exact doctrine. We ain't going to switch up our game. We just have to move to a new location. Now, we would love to have a permanent location where we can't move, but prices are outrageous. I'm talking about $3,000 for a month, and that's for rent. That includes in electricity and gas, and that's just to be in this building. So y'all, we struggling to have fundraisers. Everybody gonna have, you talking about all hands on deck. Everybody gonna have to be selling some Girl Scout cookies, for us to be able to pay that continuously like that, y'all. So I'm not saying it's far-fetched, the Most High work miracles, but we have to understand all we're doing is spreading the gospel. Whether we spread it on this part of town, whether we spread it on that part of town, wherever we spread, long as the same message is being spread. But we ain't telling nobody, if you come down here, you guaranteed to get the truth. No, we don't run that game.
Right.
And we still crazy as hell ourselves. Go ahead.
The Most High give us also witness, because He tells us we're going to witness it all. So we still witness the reprobate mind state.
Yes, sir. And we're talking about benefit believers, y'all. They going to jump on the bandwagon. You ain't going to believe. Man, I ain't never believed that. I was just talking noise. I just need a few extra dollars in my pocket. But you're going to get a mind, a reprobate mind, and you ain't going to know how to come back to this.
No.
And that's where he going to try you. When he asks my name, and you say, Yeshua HaMashiach, he like, that ain't my name. I'm asking you for chapter and verse. And you can't remember because you're putting it down now. You're saying the laws don't exist no more. Commandments of men that exist. I'm going to ask you one more time. What's my name? Jesus? Jeremiah? One of the prophets? One more time, I'm pleading with you. Yo, that's how it's going to be, because a famine is coming to this. They're going to take this from us. And if you ain't got it locked up here, it's going to be a problem when they come for you. Because the devil going to always ask you, what did God tell you? And then you're going to say, well, keep the commandments. And he's going to say, it's one of the commandments to honor angels. Now, you know I'm an angel. I think it did say that somewhere. Boom, you out. That's how quick it's going to be.
You're going to have to be like Book of Eli.
You're going to have to, that's what we're talking about. And notice it was the only book left that was out there. When he got to the sacred page, the Quran was up there, but everybody had to get a hold of this. And what did he do? He memorized it up here, because he had been gone 33 years reading through it every day. And not only that, but reading it in Braille. And the leader saying, man, I don't want none of them other books, man. I need that book. That book's going to control the people. They didn't understand it, but the one who wanted to control them understood it, because in that only book on earth ain't never been revived. I don't care what version you get, the blue letter, all you have to do is, when somebody's saying this version ain't the right version, go to Exodus 20 and those versions. If the law changes, get rid of that version of the Bible. I don't care if it's NIV, New English, that, I don't care what it is. Just go to Exodus 20. If it's the same as in the King James, then it's good to go. It's just more modern English. You understand, when we was in church, why we couldn't read the Old Testament? Because it kept saying thou, and it kept running Hebrew names. You're like, just get to the part where we can understand regular names like John and Mark. But the Bible breaks down there what those names really are. Well, John, what's your Hebrew name? How you pronounce it? Yachanan. See, that's what we're talking about. But his English name is what? John. That don't change who he is as an individual. He just can't put Yachanan on no documentation, or he gonna be a fraudster. They ain't gonna set Yachanan Israel on the title of a car. They gonna say this don't match up with your birth certificate. What's your birth name? Yeah, they want your government name. So
like Big for Richard.
Absolutely, bro. So you know what we're talking about, y'all. So this ain't hard, y'all. It's just he'd rather have obedience than sacrifice. Don't need no sacrifice around here. Are you obedient? The commandments are good, because the commandments is what God say, this is what I need you to do. What laws had to come into place is to fix the problem. Like the law of the fringes had to come in because this man would not pick up double sticks on Friday. before sundown to Saturday sundown. So we had to create a law. That's what it means. The law brings you under a curse. It had to be, because that's a cursed thing. Y'all was cool. All he had to do was just not go out there and pick up sticks. That's why you can't put fringes over the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was in the beginning. The Holy Spirit rolls on men, and it teaches you all things. It makes you remember law. But if you got to have fringes on, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't wear them. I'm saying they're custom. But if you have to do like this to make you remember, that's going to be a problem. Because you're going to have them on when you're in the shower. You're going to have them on when you're at the beach. You're going to have them on when you and your woman get ready to get fruitful and multiply, so you don't defile the marriage bed.
Even with my fringes on.
Well, look, you're going to be having to do.
I'm a mess.
Look, you know why? Because
I mess up.
yes, sir.
With my fringes.
Look here. You better have them on. You know why? Because that covenant is on the end of a man's vessel. And if he commit adultery with that covenant, it's going to be a problem. Now put your fringes on before you get in the bed. Just have a hula hoop type fringe and be naked. You understand what I'm saying, y'all?
Yes,
see, so you can't put stock into it like that because it came off of disobedience. The Holy Spirit is not disobedient. It's pure truth of the law. It don't say if you blaspheme the fringes, you shall know righteousness in the kingdom to come, or this world or the world to come.
Right.
It's the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
That's where the power is. The fringe is our custom to remind us of the wilderness. Don't do what we did in the wilderness.
Right.
More than anything.
You went and committed adultery and folded it up all nice.
Boy, look here.
Straightened out the fringes.
Yeah.
And then went and did iniquity. It didn't remind you of nothing.
Nothing.
Right, nothing.
Y'all, it's got to be in here. And you got to put fringes on your heart.
Right.
You have to circumcise this. Remember, Abraham was 99 years old before he got circumcised. His heart was circumcised though. It was in here. It's not the outer cup. It's what's in here. He had blood on the heart of his doorpost. That's where your blood have to be. You can't put no blood on the outside like you're going to fool the Messiah. He's checking the inside. That's why he say, I'm going to judge you on the intent and thought of your heart. I'm going to judge you on how you thought about committing a sin. I'm not going to judge you after. I'm going to put it together on how you thought of how you was going to trick me with my law, statute, judge. The same way this nation doing now. They bring you into that room and they say, did you do it? No, see, he led me astray. There's your phone. And did you Google how to kill a man and get away with it?
That ain't my phone.
That ain't my, yes it is, right here. I see you, or you, True Money. Is that your handle? True Money. Well, True Money, it says right here that you then went to Home Depot, you bought a shovel, you bought some lime, and you bought duct tape. Tell us why you purchased those items at 3 o'clock in the morning. That wasn't me. Run the film for them. Is that you right here at Walmart purchasing them things? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Okay, I'm going to tell you.
See what happened.
And see, and then they put you in that snitching, you know, they make it cold in there, and black people don't like cold. Every time on the first 40 hours, they got their arms under their shirts, and they just freezing like this, and you can't take that cold. They're like, no, turn it back down, turn it right to almost freezing, and we're going to get all the answers. And you want out of there. They know what to do.
Take me to my cell, please.
Boy, run that cold, and they be on the floor bottled up trying to get out of there. And they say, we'll be back. And they didn't come back for 2 hours before then. So we may be back. Hey, yeah, man, I'm finna go and clock out. And you hear that? And you still in that room, and the air conditioner on 32, right below freeze, above freezing, I should say. And they know how to get them answers out of you, because we don't like cold weather, and they know because the Messiah told them, pray that your flight be not in what?
In the winter.
Neither on the Sabbath day, y'all. So they know the rules, and they know how to get us. Put winter on them. We get all the answers we want. Drop it down that 32, boy. They be snitching, boy. They'll tell on Harriet Tubman. And then she went to this Underground Railroad, and then the abolitionists helped her. Shut up. I can't write that damn fast. Now, what you say? Y'all, it's going to be rough, y'all. That's why Amos 5:18 say, what is the day of the Lord for you? Do we really want to see that sky cracked open right now? I'm just talking about in our heart right now, where we stand right now and know what we do.
Are you sure?
Are you sure you want to see that sky crack open today? What other question we got out there too? Hold on, I wanted to just run a couple questions for Ak, and it's just on the priesthood.
Right.
So we're gonna run that Psalm 110, and then we run the Hebrews 7th chapter.
I already let the chat know. I'm sorry to cut y'all down.
Go ahead.
I already let the chat know. Any questions that don't get answered this Shabbat, next Shabbat, most high willing, we'll get to them.
Not
Yes,
next
sir.
Shabbat.
Well, not
Most
next
high
Shabbat
willing.
either, because
Not
we'll
next
be at
Shabbat.
Oh, that's right. That's
war
right.
show.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we get to it in between them. We can always call the radio station or hit us up a private question if it has to be answered, like that. But I just wanted to see the difference in the priesthood. So first, Deuteronomy 18, we're going to see that it's law. And then when we get to Romans, you're going to understand it perfectly. So let's get to Deuteronomy 18 and 9, I believe it is. Because it said this is what the intercessor has to do. And we're going to understand this whole thing is a priesthood with Israel. Israel don't want to accept the priest. They rather give us a king spirit.
Yep.
Somebody that rule over you and put you on a street corner.
Anybody forgot?
And have you selling all, and then they tell you, you can marry her. No, you can't marry her. We're going to give her to him. And then if they tell you, get up in the middle of the night, the priest has words for you. If you get up in the middle of the night, ain't no need you looking for your woman no more because they got you. Ain't nothing in this Bible tell us to give a man control over you like. It tell even Peter and Paul and them, it says, yes, just because y'all apostles, don't lord over the people.
That's right.
Don't you dare do this. You better not try to use your title as an uplifting over them. You bet not. Them your brothers. If an angel come to you and preach not this gospel, count him accursed. Now what you going to do with a Negro got a prescription in his pocket? He can't get rid of inflammation. How he going to help you? Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9.
Yes, sir.
When thou art come into the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch,
right,
or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High.
What are they?
An abomination unto the Most High. And because of these abominations, the Most High thy power does drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of times, and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Most High thy power hath not suffered thee to do so to do. The Most High thy power will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me.
Like unto who?
Unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken.
So Moses is saying he gonna raise up a prophet. This is what he said, like unto me. Him shall ye hearken to. So this trump anything that Aaron is talking about, or the house of Levi. He's saying he's going to trump me. John the Baptist was a Levitical priest. In the wilderness, he was busting the Pharisees' head. But he said, Christ shall increase. I'm going to decrease. Already know it. He said, behold, the Lamb of God. That's a Levite switching the order of the priesthood. Let's read some more. What else it say? Your verse 16.
According to all that thou desirest of the Most High thy power in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Most High thy power, my power, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Most High said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken.
And this is what the group was talking about. They're like, Moses, that power was too much. I'm talking about for the common man. He like, look, just go speak for us. And Moses said, well, they saying the good. I don't want them to be terrified of me. I want them to understand they're accepting one man between you and the congregation. And the Most High, he'll speak to them. And they said, we accept that. Now you don't accept the Messiah. And this same person that Moses that was accepted, he told you who you're going to have to accept. Now you still want to accept Moses, and Moses telling you, I'm decreasing.
Right.
I'm going to be out the box. Read some more, Zed.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto these, and will put my words in his mouth. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
See, he going to speak to them all that I should command him. See, Matthew 5th chapter is the Messiah going up to the Mount of Olives, getting the words from the Messiah, like Moses was on Mount Sinai. It's the same way. He just went up. So everything you read in Matthew 5th chapter is he saying, you have heard of old, but I say to you, the sheriff in town, the real captain of the host, I tell you, if you do that, don't worry about coming back around here no more. So when you read Matthew 5th chapter, it's like most people call it the Sermon on the Mount, but it has more power than that. It's letting everybody know this who got the power, this who got the real power. Because Moses and Elijah showed up at the transfiguration in Matthew 17 chapter. And the disciples said, should we make 3 pillars? He's like, come on now, the Father had to speak. Now, cut that noise out. Listen to him.
Right.
But that was Moses and Elijah. And you know it had to be supernatural because that's 2,000 years later. How would the disciples Peter and John know that was Moses and Elijah? They've been gone, and Moses had died, and Elijah been gone 1,000, 1,500 years before that. How did they know who that was? This killed that reincarnation doctrine of them camps talking about John the Baptist didn't know he was Elijah. If that had been the case, the disciples say that ain't Elijah, that's John the Baptist. Because he grew up with him, you understand? It don't make sense when they say things like that, like John didn't know who he was. No, you don't know who you are. John knew exactly who he was because he said, I'm one crying in the wilderness. I'm like Isaiah 40. I'm not who you trying to make me be. I know who I am. I know the prophecy. Christ baptized me in my mother's womb when I was 6 months in her womb. When Mary came through there, she saluted, and the baby, and I started kicking in my mama's room. He put the Holy Spirit on me then when I was 6 months in my mother's belly. I was jumping and kicking, and I knew that she had the Messiah in her. But we ain't looking at it like that. We want to just make it to where men can control you. But we're going to read this, y'all. We're going to close on out of here. Go ahead, Zed, what you got?
Verse 19.
Yeah.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die.
So it's clear the Messiah came speaking in the name of the Father. Moses said that he the only intercessor, he the one that was willing to give his life, actually gave his life. Moses lost his life because he couldn't take them murmuring. Dathan and Korah, them Israelites drove Moses crazy. Nigga, bring us out here and starve out here. We could have stayed in Egypt. They had drive-bys, they had ATM, they had clothing stores. He gonna bring us out here. And Moses, he said, well, speak to the rock. It'll sit in the water. And he hit that rock. Pow! You crazy nigga, shall we give you water? Oh, Moses, you tripping like that? We? When you become a part of the Godhead? We? You speaking French now to Israel. We. And that's why Moses was punished, because he said we. Every idle word. He said you sanctified yourself in the eyes of the people. You try to make them really think you taking my place or my son's place. I told you about that. Almost got you when you was first going to Egypt. When you didn't circumcise Gershom, I sent an angel to kill you then. And that wife of yours, who was a Cushite, saved your life. She circumcised that boy for you. I'd have got you then. Now you done moved up to this level. get up to that mountain and die. You ain't gonna see the promised land. I'm gonna spare you though. I'm gonna spare you because I know this crazy people. This people crazy. Ain't we crazy, y'all?
Yes, sir.
Let's get some more. Where we at? We're gonna just finish that last one out of the prophet.
Verse 21.
Yeah, you good. And also y'all read Joshua, I believe 5th chapter, 10th verse, or the other way around, that where the captain of the host and Joshua say, "Are you fight with us?" He like, "No, you with me." And Joshua pulled off his shoes and bowed. Is that 5 and 10 of Joshua?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, it's either 5 and 10 of Joshua or 10 and 5. I believe it's 5 and 10. Chapter 5, verse 10, where Joshua pulls off his shoes to the captain of the host, and he bowed to him. So Joshua knew who the Messiah was, and Abraham knew the Messiah, because Messiah told the Pharisees, before Abraham was, I am. And they say, you know Abraham, you ain't 50. He said, before Abraham was, I am. Then they picked up stone, and he's letting them know, look, that was me talk to Abraham. He discussed that with me about going down there and destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. Y'all, this ain't hard. It's just people trying to make it hard. But I just want to get to the other one when I was talking about the prophet being the same way, the Messiah. We had Acts 19, and then we go to well, we got a bunch of them. Oh, Hebrews 7 chapter. Boy, I had to think hard. No, I want Psalm 110, then Hebrews 7 chapter. Psalm 110, because there's a change in priesthood. See, I just wanted to go to the law first. Deuteronomy is the law. In the law, Moses said there's another priest coming. He's going to be just like me. He's going to be a prophet, priest, and king. Look, and this is what's going to happen. He's going to tell you what God really said. Not like me. I tripped a couple times. He's going to be sin-free. He ain't going to sin. That's why y'all going to have to listen to him. And the dove going to come down on him. And he's going to be embodied with the Holy Spirit. That's how you going to know who he is. So let's get that Psalm 110, because David prophesied. David said it ain't me. He going to be born of an offspring of mine. But his father is the Almighty. There's only two people in the Bible that God says are his only begotten son. Adam and the Messiah, which both had virgin mothers. Adam's mother was Virgin Earth, and the Messiah mother was Virgin Mary. But both of their fathers are who? God. They're the only two on this earth that were formed in the image of God, and Christ was before Adam, because that's who it was in the Garden of Eden. He was the tree of life. So he's before Adam too. But those are only two individuals that truly have the name of God. Everybody else is son of man. Y'all understand? Son of man. Son of man. But Adam and Messiah are sons of God. The true sons of God. Go ahead, where we at, Zeb? And we're going to close on out, y'all.
Psalms 110, verse 1.
Yeah.
The Lord said unto my Lord.
What the Lord say?
The Lord said unto my Lord.
Now look, David is the king. So who's Lord between David? Who's the Lord between David and the Most High? When David making this statement, the Lord said to my Lord. Ain't no Lord above the king. So who is David talking about? Go ahead and read some more.
The Lord said to my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right.
The Lord shall send the rod of strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. From the womb of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the blood
of the brook.
He shall drink of the brook in the way Therefore shall he lift up the head.
Now that's David prophesying about the Messiah. He said after the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek started with Adam. He was the first Melchizedek priest. He passed it to Abel. Abel killed by Cain. Then Seth was born. And then Enos. And then so on. And they passed the Melchizedek order. When you get to like this, is the second Enoch 71? There were Ner's son, Noah's brother, Ner. It's second Enoch 70 and 71. But Noah's brother, he had a brother named Ner. He was married to a lady. She was old. He had went out spread the word. When he came back, her name is Seleucia or something like that. But she was pregnant. And he said, how you get pregnant? And then he wanted to put her away. She like, look, I'm old. I'm 90 or 100 years old. She could have been more than that, 200 or 300 years old. She said, I don't know how I got pregnant. It was the same situation with Messiah and Mary, the same situation. He went and got Noah. He like, man, I'm telling you, she pregnant. And then she died. And the baby was born stillbirth. But it was, when they got there, the baby was just sitting up like this. And they was looking. And they were saying, look, he got the badge of Melchizedek on his chest. And they saw it on the baby chest. And they said, go get the robes of Melchizedek. Those are the garments that was passed to Shem. And then Shem passed them to Abraham. Well, no, Shem didn't pass it because he was the high priest. Abraham became a priest, but he was not a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Shem was the last one on this earth. The book of Jasher, 16th chapter, tell you Shem, that was Shem that Abraham met, coming off the slaughter. That was Shem, Noah's son. He passed it. He was 600 years old at the time and passed the doctrine on to Abraham. But Ner's son, the son that they put the robe on Melchizedek, in those writings it said he is the Melchizedek on this side. So when we go to the other side, but he's going to bow to the true Melchizedek that's coming, the King of Kings. You understand what I'm saying? So everything was already prophesied from the Garden of Eden. The flood didn't change nothing because we're still under the same sun and moon. That didn't change anything. But the order still had to come before the world destruction to let them know the program's still going to go to the end. It's still, the Garden of Eden going to be made righteous again. But that second Enoch 70, ain't it? And 71, just do this. Noah's brother Ner. And you'll pull it up real quick in the book of Enoch. But go ahead and let's do this Hebrews 7 while you find that so we can close on out. I think it's 2nd Enoch 70 and chapter 71. All you got to do is look up Noah's brother Ner. We're going to Hebrews 7 right now, just so bruh understand that there was a necessity of law change. So we're going to read down Zeb just a little bit, 1 through 12, 1 through 16, yeah.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1.
You see it, Tuba? I find it. Go ahead, y'all.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Yahweh, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings,
so
and blessed him.
Letting us know who that Melchizedek was. It's matching up with Genesis 18th chapter. It's matching up with Jasher 16th chapter. That Melchizedek in the Bible was never told his name, but the book of Jasher 16 tell you it was Shem. Go ahead, read some more.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life.
So now everybody that's born, even Adam, his mama was dirt, but his daddy was who? So he has a father. He has a beginning of days. You know how we know? Because there's 14 generations from Abraham to Christ. 14 generations from Abraham back to Adam. So we can count when Adam was made. We can count when the Messiah came into play. So Melchizedek, without father and without mother, the only people we even read about here has to be the Almighty. It says he's called the Ancient of Days. Before day one even started, he's ancient to that. He ain't got no mother, he ain't got no father, he's self-existent. So he's Melchizedek, and Christ is after that order. They had other priests up until Christ came, and he set him on his right hand. He's the priest after the original order in the Garden of Eden. It was the original God order in the heavens. Satan got thrown out. He was under the Melchizedek order. Christ has always been on the right hand. That's why Satan wanted to go up. I want to go up there. Well, he's already in the heavens. But he couldn't go past the level that where Christ was sitting on the right hand. Let me get that nerd brother. Hold on. Let me get it for you right now. Go ahead, hit that 7. Finish that up, Zed.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the 10th of the spoils. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of the brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. But he whose descent is not counted from them receive tithes of Abraham.
So right here it's saying, look, it's saying, what verse you in?
6.
6. So right here saying sin. Hold on, if I get in the right chapter. Yeah, I'm in Revelation. No, it ain't. But 6. So, but he whose descent is not counted from them that receive tithes of Abraham, and bless him that had the promises. So right here it's saying Abraham was before Levi. Before tithing ever started, commanded tithing. You must give 10% to the Levite. Before that, Abraham had already did a free will tithing under the order of Melchizedek. That's what it is. You give tithes upon your increase. We're not taking care of any Levites. So Abraham was paying tithes before Levi was even thought of. Because he had to have Isaac, then Isaac had to have Jacob, and then Jacob had Reuben, Simeon, and then Levi. And then tithing didn't even start then. It didn't start till we come out of Egypt. It was still under Melchizedek order. So Levi was rocking Melchizedek till we came out of Egypt. That's when he chose Levi, when he said, who's on the Lord's side? Levi held up his hand. He said, you're going to be my inheritance at that point. But before then, Levi was under the order of Melchizedek. Let's read a little bit more of that, Zed.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. And here men that die receive tithes. But there he receiveth them, of whom is witness that he liveth. And as I may say, and as I may so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham, for he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
He says, so you already, before you even was thought of, you wasn't even considered at this point, and Abraham was already paying tithes. So we have to get back to Melchizedek. But go ahead, we finna get this next verse. It's going to make it clear.
If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should arise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? So
it's saying, if we got a new priest, why ain't they after Aaron? Why we got to move it back to Melchizedek? Aaron was just to school us because we had been in bondage so long. All it was to correct our flesh, because that's what was lusting. It's just a flesh correction. It was bringing the law from that perspective. Give you a good whooping, man, woman, or child, to bring you into understanding, just to get you to the point, and then it has to move up here. It's like your mother write a note. She go to work, take out the trash, clean up the kitchen, and make sure such and such clean up the bathroom. She write a note and put it on. No, first time she just tell y'all. She come back home. Why y'all clean up the kitchen? I didn't know you said that y'all playing with me. So she write a note and put it on the refrigerator. Now we can see the note. Now if she come home and have to ask why the kitchen ain't cleaned up again, what's going to happen? Punishment start, don't it? So we don't have to have the note back up on the refrigerator anymore because we're into our conscious law now. Not for the flesh. It's to correct your soul, not your flesh anymore. That's what the priesthood of Aaron did. Get your flesh in check. It's the part that's lusting against the spirit. Now that Messiah is here and we back on our supernatural program, now you have to go back under the order of Melchizedek, which deals with the supernatural, which deal with laws in your sleep. You can't commit sin in your sleep. You can't dream about somebody you're not supposed to. You can't rob a bank in your sleep, because he said if a man thinketh to lust on a woman, what has he done? Unless you thinking, oh, she's so beautiful, I love for her to meet my mother and my father, and I believe that may be the wife of my future. But are we thinking like that when we see a woman?
No, you're going that forward.
The first time you think is looking at her and saying Motel 6.
Your future is shorter than that.
So your mind go right there. See, if you ain't thinking wedding right then you thinking already to the honeymoon ceremony. You understand what I'm saying? You done leapfrog everything. Your two witnesses, everything. You just say, let's just get to the honeymoon up here. That quick. It ain't got nothing to do with her, how she dressed. It's what you're thinking. And that's what the Most High gonna judge. What we think. Not what we do. That's the second part. For when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And see, but sin have to be conceived. That means it has to make a baby. That's what conception is, to make pregnant. So when lust makes pregnant your thought, it's going to produce a wicked offspring in your mental. That's why Deuteronomy 23:10 say, a man that chanceth at night, it's a man, and chanceth at night meaning he have a nocturnal emission. When we go further, a wet dream. He have to get up and wash himself. He's unclean till evening, just like Leviticus 15 said. If he was being fruitful and multiplying, he's got to follow the same laws in his sleep, because that's supernatural. When you woke, you got to have friction. You sleep laying flat on your back, watching a movie in your mind, and it say, pow! And you wake up, and your drawers have to be like this to the dirty clothes. How do you do that in your dream? Control that power like that in your dream. Right now, if we put that Mega Millions money on the table and say, do it while you conscious, while you woke, you couldn't do it.
I better not catch y'all with your eyes closed.
You can't do it. So supernaturally, the devil come in what's called the fourth watch of the night. 2 a.m. in the morning to 2:59 a.m. in the morning. That's when Satan attacked. When you like this on your back. When you're talking tough around your boy. Yeah, man, I told him down there. Man, we down there at class. Yeah, I told him I'd cut your head off. And the devil say, I'm going to come and cut yours off when you go to sleep. So as soon as you like this, here come the devil. You looking for your partner. You want to get that 9mm, but how you going to shoot in your dreams? So we can't break laws even in our sleep.
So I better pray.
This is why it has to be up here, because he don't care about you. You can fool anybody now that he want to know what you're dreaming about. And when you had them dreams that you say it was so real, I'm telling you, it was like I was right there. Those are the dreams. And he say, I'll make a way for you to escape. If you in the wrong place you ain't supposed to be, the alarm clock will go off, the phone will ring, and you wake up. The problem is, do you want to get back in that dream? Many will try to get back in that dream. That brother told me he was putting on pajamas at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, trying to get back to sleep in the afternoon. Did you finish that, Zed? We're just going down to 16. Yeah, verse 12.
Verse 12.
Y'all, we're going to close on out after this, y'all.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For the priesthood being changed.
What being changed?
The priesthood being changed. There is made a necessity of necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Right.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Right.
And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there ariseth another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal command.
Not after the law of a carnal command, because he was made supernatural, preternatural. Go ahead.
But after the power of an endless life. For he testified, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
And y'all read the rest of that and it'll tell you why we shouldn't be up under urn, or if anybody preaching under urn. All you have to do is any Israelite you run into, what priesthood you follow, and who's the high priest. Once you hear, if you hear the law of Moses, you hear the thing, and Moses didn't write the law, he just copied the law. He was judged by the law that he copied. So y'all, let's get it understood. That other one is 2nd Enoch.
71, you still want me to read that?
Is it about the virgin birth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. He in 2nd Enoch 71. What it state?
Yeah. It wasn't coming up on my screen. It says, behold, the wife of Ner, whose name was Sophanum. Sophanum. I'm sorry, y'all mispronounced.
Yeah, you are.
Being sterile and never having any time given birth to a child by
not have given any time. Read that again.
All right.
Not at any time.
The wife of Ner, whose name was Sophanum.
Right.
Being sterile and never having at any time giving birth to a child by Ner.
Right.
And Sophanum was in the time of her old age, and in the day of her death, she conceived.
What she do?
She conceived in her womb. But Ner, the priest, had not slept with her, nor had he touched her, from the day that the Lord had appointed him to conduct the liturgy in front of the face of the temple of the people. And when Sophanum saw her pregnancy, she was ashamed and embarrassed, and she hid herself during all the days until she gave birth. And not one of the people knew about it. And when 282 days had been completed, and the day of birth had begun to approach, Ner remembered his wife, and he recalled her to himself in his house, so that he might converse with her. And Sophanum came to Ner, her husband, and behold, she was pregnant. And the day appointed, she gave birth. Was drawing near. For her giving birth.
Well, you got some small print you read, don't you?
It's really small print.
Oh yeah. I wish you had to pull it up in the lost books we got. But go ahead, keep reading though. Just keep reading it. I know it's tight here. You need these bigger glasses. These some magnifiers. Go ahead.
Then what?
I'm trying to go back to where I was at.
Yeah.
And Ner saw her, and he became very ashamed. And he said to her, what is this that you have done, O wife? And why have you disgraced me in front of the face of these people? And now depart from me and go where you began the disgrace of your womb.
So he said, go back to the man that got you pregnant.
Right.
So it sounds just like Joseph and Mary. Go ahead. What else it say?
So that I might not defile my hand on account of you.
Right, because you say I'm about to go upside your head, woman.
Right.
How you going to tell me you pregnant and don't know how you pregnant?
Right.
282 days, that's 9 months, the time it takes to have a child. Go ahead, what else to say real quick? Go ahead.
So that I might not defile my hands on account of you and sin in front of the face of the Lord. And so Pamela spoke to her husband, saying, O my Lord, behold, it is the time of my old age, and the day of my death has arrived. I do not understand how my menopause and the barrenness of my womb have been reversed. And Ner did not believe his wife. And for the second time, he said to her, depart from me, or else I might assault you.
You see what he's saying? You better get out of here. I may lay hands on you, woman. You lying. How you get pregnant? Go ahead.
Depart from me, or else I might assault you and commit a sin in front of the face of the Lord. And it came to pass, when Ner had spoken to his wife, Savannah, that Savannah fell down to Ner's feet and died. Ner was exceedingly distressed, and he said in his heart, could this have happened because of my word? Since by word and thought a person can't sin in front of the face of the Lord? Now, my God, have mercy upon me.
He just basically saying, did I burn bread on her?
Right.
Did I cause her to die by saying I lay hands on you wicked? Did I kill her from my voice versus my knuckles? Go ahead. Just get down to the part where the baby born.
I know in truth, in my heart, that my hand was not upon her. And so I say, glory to you, O Lord, because no one among mankind knows about this death which the Lord has done. And Ner heard, and he shut the door on his house. And he went to Noah, his brother, and he reported to him everything that had happened in connection with his wife. And Noah heard, and he came with Ner, his brother, and came into Ner's house because of the death of Savannah. And they discussed between themselves how her womb was at the time of giving birth. And Noah said to Ner, don't let yourself be sorrowful, Ner, my brother, for the Lord today has covered up your scandal, in that nobody from the people knows this. Now let us go quickly, and let us hurry, and let us bury her secretly. And the Lord will cover up the scandal of our shame. And they placed Savannah on the bed, and they wrapped her around with black garments, and shut her in the house, preparing for burial. They dug a grave in secret, and a child came out from the dead Savannah, and he sat on the bed at her side. And Noah and Ner came in to bury Savannah, and they saw the child sitting beside the dead Savannah and wiping his clothes. And Noah and Ner were very terrified with a great fear, because the child was fully developed physically, like a 3-year-old. And he spoke with his lips, and he blessed the Lord. And Noah and Ner looked at him.
Go ahead. No, I'm just looking for the badge of Melchizedek on his chest.
Oh, okay. And behold, the badge of the priest was on his chest.
See, there's priests before the flood. The badge of the priest. Go ahead. What else it say?
The badge of the priest was on his chest, and it was glorious in appearance. And Noah and Ner said, behold, God is renewing the priesthood from blood relative to us, just as he pleases. And Noah and Ner hurried, and they washed the child, and they dressed him in the garments of the priesthood.
And go ahead.
And they gave him the holy bread, and he ate it. And they called his name Melchizedek.
What they call him?
Melchizedek.
Y'all read the rest of that for time's sake. But y'all get into that. It was a virgin birth, and it was a priest, Melchizedek. They say he restoring the priesthood before the flood. Y'all understand this ain't hard. They just trying to keep you trapped at Mount Sinai in the middle. You can't get no understanding in the middle.
Right.
Ain't nobody ever asked anything about the middle. When something happened, the first thing you tell anybody, man, just go back to the beginning. Take me back to the beginning. What happened at the beginning?
That's right.
Not in the middle. You can't make a judgment in the middle. Can you?
No.
Let's close out, y'all. I hope that answered that question. And when y'all get a chance, y'all read that second Enoch. Start at the 64th verse all the way through the 73rd verse about that child Melchizedek. Because you're going to see he wasn't the one. It's just saying he going to pay the one for that. They had to get him sent to paradise. That Melchizedek, that child had to be shipped to paradise, the third level of heaven. Y'all read that. Some good, interesting reading in that, y'all. But if we ain't got no more questions or concerns,
I mean, we do, but
well, we out of time right now.
No problem.
So y'all,
it's an excellent class.
Where do you see the second book of Enoch at?
huh? That's in the lost book. Yeah, you.
I know my lost books. It can go up to 7.
Well, y'all just find this. You just flew lost books Enoch, second book of Enoch. It's gonna pull it up. It's all in there. When you get into the 30th chapter, it's gonna go over the creation different. It's gonna tell you why Eve was created from Adam's flesh. To see whether he choose his own flesh words or would he choose the Father? And Adam listened to his own flesh, and he listened to his wife. He was tempted by his own flesh. That's what he was originally created for, to see if he would worship his own offspring versus the Most High. Who would he listen to? It had nothing to do with a woman being wicked. That's why he says, that's flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone, Adam. I'm going to see if you're going to listen to your offspring versus me. And that's why he asked Adam, what did I tell you, though? It was that woman you gave me. Nope. What did I tell you? Okay, you hard-headed. So y'all, with that, we're going to get this prayer on.
Psalms 101, with the Most High's commission in the name of his only begotten Son.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King!
I will sing of mercy and judgment. Unto thee, O Elohim, will I sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way.
Yes, sir.
O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within mine house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave unto me.
Yes, sir.
A forward heart shall not depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath a high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
Yes, sir.
I will early destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all the wicked doers from the city of the Most High.
Hallelujah! Selah!
Y'all got a shekel or two, y'all. We greatly appreciate it. Y'all, hey, we ran over a little bit, but we had to get some understanding. Yes, sir. Hey, y'all, anybody in here that need a shirt for the award show, if you need a small or medium, it has to be special order, and it's going to be brought down from the guy that make them. If you want any other shirt that you want Jacob to bring, because I need the order, or anybody on the committee that's on the committee, I need to get your shirt size, pick it off from the list and tell me which shirt you want. If you want 2 shirts, you got to pay for the second. But the first shirt for committee